What's up, everybody? It's your boy Bill Forster, and this is another segment in Real Talk Chronicles. And I have my partner in crime with me tonight. Not my female partner, but I have my boy partner, Kevin Branzetti, with me. What's up, Kevin? How are you today?
All right, Bill. All right. Enjoying a nice, cool evening.
Yes, it is, right? No AC. You don't have to do that. You could just turn on open up the windows and go for what you know. You know what I'm saying? Um, we're supposed to have a great segment tonight, but we're missing a few components, but I think another one will be chiming in very soon, hopefully. And just have some topics that I just wanted to talk about tonight, and I hope that our listening audience will partake of in these conversations with us. There's so much still going on in the world today. We're trying to come up with solutions, but we always still got to talk about the problems. This is Real Talk Chronicles. I am your host, Bill Forster, and with my co-host tonight, Kevin Branzetti. And my lovely wife is somewhere in the confines of this location doing wife stuff here, there, and everywhere. So, with that being said, let's talk about some issues. I don't know if you heard, Breonna Taylor's family settled for $12 million.
Yeah. No, I definitely, heard that, saw that.
Yeah.
I'm not overly surprised.
No, not at all. I think some people are feeling a certain way about that. I had some people chime in, and I thought it was kind of disrespectful what they said in regards to the family taking the money. Like that's what they were kind of insinuating, like almost like that's all they wanted was the money. Like, how do you justify losing your daughter or a loved one, and then the city settles out, which we know the city was going to do. Monetarily, we didn't know what they were going to settle with, but to kind of insinuate like, hey, like that's all they wanted. I thought it was kind of a little cheap shot at the family.
That's a little more than a cheap shot, Bill.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah. But you know what's so funny? And I hate to say this, it comes from our Leo people. You know what I'm saying?
I'll challenge and say it's probably more than just Leo people, but that's the group you see the most because it's our circle, a lot of it, right? So we see it from them, but it doesn't matter from who. Why would you ever make a comment? She's a completely innocent woman. We can have an argument on, good shoot, bad shoot, different things, but you can't argue she was an innocent bystander.
And that's a good point too. So, matter of fact, let me just ask you a question. What do you think about the whole? I mean, not everything has come to light for the city to settle. Of course, they're talking about some wrongdoing. For the city to settle, I mean,
listen, the city will always pay.
Mm-hmm.
It could be a complete, good. It doesn't mean it doesn't. It was I mean, my personal opinion. Well, first and foremost, everything has not come out yet, so we can only go with what bits and pieces we get. My opinion, it's an accident, and she's it's a terrible tragedy. But an accident and terrible tragedy is still going to get paid, right?
Right.
There's
absolutely.
And there is not a single one of us out there who wouldn't want our own families to get paid if, God forbid, we were in that scenario.
Oh, of course. Let me tell you something.
And it doesn't change a thing. I wouldn't sell any of my kids for millions of dollars. All right. So
yeah. No, exactly. I mean, that's the craziest thing. That a tragedy happened. Like you said, all the information is not out yet, but we know the boyfriend had a legal right to have a firearm in the house. I guess the discrepancy comes about was there announcement of police, because that's what we normally do when we do a search warrant. Search warrant, even if it's a no knock or it's a knock, no knock, we still identify ourselves once we boom the door. Uh,
Mm.
Nobody knows.
Uh,
There isn't any, or we haven't seen. I don't know if there is any
Body
body
cam.
cam. Body cam.
Yeah.
So I mean, the family settled for 12 million. Some people said that's not enough. Personally, I guess I would have asked for 26. She was 26 years old. I would have asked for 26 million. I mean, I'm just saying. I'm
Yeah.
just talking. I'm talking personal now. I
Yeah.
mean, we know some of that money is going to get divvied up to the lawyer. So really, when we look at these numbers after a while, 9 million. I don't even know if these numbers are taxed. You understand what I'm saying? As
Yeah. I have no
I
idea.
yeah, I have no idea. And talking about shootings, we just had a tragic incident happen recently in LA. Prayers out to the sheriffs, the two sheriffs that were shot. And I don't know if they're still in critical condition. I think that they're supposedly be told. I heard that they're going to make it right now, which is uh I'm looking at a message Bill just sent me. Uh,
Well, let me say hello to Eddie C, who's out there, because I just saw him chime in.
Eddie C, what's up, brother?
You know?
Yes, Eddie. Eddie is a good dude, man. Eddie, when you retire, love to have you on the show. I mean, I think a lot of times we become to appreciate people more as we move on from this job and the situation, and as we left the 2-8, I remember Eddie was working in a squad, and it was always good to see him. Um, Same brother, which was great. Uh, so yeah, like I said, let's talk about. He said, "What's up?" So my man.
He would be perfect to have on when if he's was allowed, because he's worked in big department and small department.
Yeah, and
In the
we
north and the south, he's done red
yeah,
state, blue state. He's done a
yeah,
little bit of both.
and we'll be around when that happens. So Eddie, come on in. With that being said, so yeah, it was a tragic incident that happened to these two officers in LA. And to my understanding, when they went to the hospital, I don't know if it was actually them or some other people that was at the hospital. There were some protesters out there chanting like "Hope they die." That's the
Yeah.
craziest stuff I've ever heard in my life. Like what we are at such a crossroads and what's happening right now with law enforcement and people, that people have the audacity to go in front of a hospital and chant "I hope you die." Like I've never heard. Like
Bill, see, this is one of those scenarios where the cops need to be commended. Could you imagine, showing up at the hospital and your partner was just shot, or your best friend was just shot, and you got somebody standing out there during that emotional moment trying to block you from coming in protesting, "I wish they die"?
yeah, yeah, I don't.
There's not many people who wouldn't put hands on that person.
And rightfully so, because now it's personal. When you start saying about you hope somebody dies.
What,
You know,
what if their spouse showed up? Could you imagine going to the hospital, showing up, your wife was shot, and somebody's there saying that, Bill?
I'm gonna let it all out. I'm gonna let it all out.
Yeah,
Anybody who knows me knows I'm gonna let it all out.
you know.
And what's so funny, but what I have a problem with is that it hasn't been confirmed, but automatically people have said it was Black Lives Matter. There isn't any confirmation in that. But what's so funny? I think, and what I'm tired of hearing from our fellow coworkers and people in law enforcement is just when you hear a person of any ethnicity say Black Lives Matter, you automatically equate it to it's a Black Lives Matter movement. I think Black Lives Matter has become a slogan now. Like when Black people used to say
Clearly,
"power to the people." You understand what I'm saying?
yeah, yeah.
So I've seen all the terrorist groups, and I don't even chime in anymore because it's rhetoric to me, and but to see how people are equating anything with like anything that has to do with somebody of color, and somebody says, "Oh, Black Lives Matter," and then they're automatically talking about it's a terrorist group. Like, I think shout out to our law enforcement family and people like that. A shout out to a lot of people that's chiming in. My man Mike, Colin, Diana. You know what I'm saying? B.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
So Bill, I got two things. We do this with everything, though, right? If there's an incident with a white cop and a black man, the white cop's called a racist by a lot of people, right? And it's one incident. We don't know. He could be. Yeah. We judge things very quickly, and we use our own prejudices to judge them. And it just doesn't work. It's not. It's not the way to beat what's going on. And it has hit an ugly level, right? Protesting at a hospital was shot anybody, shot cop, shot civilian, shot dog. I don't care. It is atrocious.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Let me ask you a question, Kevin. And I really want to get your answer on this. And maybe from different perspectives. With so much animosity going on in the world today, me as an African American man.
Is that what you are?
Yeah, right. That's what they told me. Yes, I don't condone police shootings. I don't condone people applauding them, but I understand. You understand what I'm trying to say? Like, and I'm trying to say this so as delicate and articulate as I can say this for anybody out there listening. I do not condone it. I denounce it 200%. But on the other side, with all the things that are going on, I understand why some people of color don't have a sympathetic feeling towards it. What's your take on that?
Well, I'll always go back to what's your goal in life. If your goal is to make things better, that ain't making things better, right? And that should always be our goal, right? But I want to go to because I don't think I told the story on this, but I want to go to it because I've mentioned it a couple of times. You and I talked 20. When was O.J. Simpson acquitted?
And wow, yeah, 90 something, yeah.
So back then, you and I used to have these kinds of long kind of conversations, and I remember when O.J. was acquitted, and I saw, black officers cheering, and we were at work when it happened. I think we were downstairs in the lounge, and I was kind of baffled that like the guy's a murderer. Like to me, like. Yeah, I get the bad parts of the trial and things, but the guy murdered her, and I don't think that's. I think that's an arguable thing.
Yeah,
and so like you and I talked about. I'm like, you got to help me with this, right? Like I can't understand. And you explained it to me as Kevin. We don't think he's innocent. We were just tired of having white men who can kill black women in the South, rape and never be convicted by a jury, never.
Absolutely.
And so this was one for us. The tide is changing, that things are becoming different. And it took me back, and I was like, okay, I disagree with you still in the end. He's still a murderer. We shouldn't be happy, but I understand. For me, we should be cheering the day a white jury in Alabama convicts a white man for a crime against a black person. Yeah. Right? Like that's when we should cheer, right? Like that's when we should make sure we're happy and things. But I understood you though, right? I was able to get but you and I were able to talk, and I was able to get an answer and an explanation instead of me going, why are they cheering a murderer on?
Right.
I mean, OJ doesn't scare me. He killed his ex and her lover.
Right.
Some of us kind of get that in life, but I was baffled. But like I said, it was the conversation we had 20-something years ago. So that's the kind of the mindset I'm thinking when you're saying that now. It's not, nobody's really cheering. Well, there's a few. Nobody's really cheering for the cop getting killed or shot. You're not, but you get it. You get why people are saying, well, we're losing people. They're losing people.
Yeah.
I believe it's the wrong attitude.
Oh, no. Absolutely.
And it helps nothing. But I can understand it, and we could talk about it, and we could try to figure things out and make them a little bit better.
Yes, absolutely. I just want to read some comments real quick. Shout out to our old partner Eddie. He said, "Great job, guys. Listen when I can. Would love to participate in the future. Keep up the communication. Only way to make change is through knowledge and education." Absolutely. Doug is in the building. Big Doug is in the house. Good friend of mine, Colin, is in the building. What's up, Manny? Hey, Paula. Uh, Colin Clark said cops were being shot before Black Lives Matter was formed. Why why does Black Lives Matter have to answer for the black on black shootings? Why doesn't the NRA answer for the school, mall, and places of worship killings?
It's a legit statement. So I got a couple of things with that.
Go ahead.
There was and this happened also a few years back when we had the Ramos and Lou in New York City, the 5 in Dallas. Was it 3 or 4 in the Carolinas? We had multiple assassinations. It becomes an uptick. Mm-hmm. So the angry rhetoric, it's Black Lives Matter movement today. What was it in 2016? Did we call it Black Lives Matter then, or did we call it something else in 2016?
Right.
When we had there's an uptick of shootings, and the way this plays out, unfortunately, right? There's, you put out a lot of rhetoric, and I don't care what the rhetoric is. Then I can go into this, whether it's school shooters, shooting of cops, church shootings. You put out a lot of rhetoric. There are nuts out there, and the more they intake, eventually some of them react. And they'll do something.
Right.
So whatever the rhetoric is, it doesn't matter to me. If the more that's out there, it's going to happen. And it's just a rise in it. Does the NRA have a responsibility for what they fight with guns? Yeah, absolutely. But I will say they're not putting rhetoric out there to, at least from what I could see, they're not putting rhetoric out there to encourage people to go out and kill.
Let me ask a question. I'm glad you said that, because I'm at the stage at this age in my life that I feel if you don't speak out against anything, you're part of the problem. What do you feel about that?
Yeah, I agree with that, Bill. And speak out against it. Like, it doesn't mean you have to scream and put signs on your lawn and go and protest. It means you just have to practice what you preach. Kind of
absolutely. And I say that to a lot of people. I've seen people, and I can only say how volatile and vicious the words that I see in these officer groups. And I'm glad I'm in them, because I get to know what somebody thinks, and this is what we do. We have that private group, like any other people, like Nick fans have that group of things of that magnitude, whatever it is. But what I don't understand is how somebody could spew such hatred stuff, and then realize it, and not think about, well, wait a minute, I've worked with Black officers, or I have Black or Latin friends. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. And that's what I have a big problem with, because yeah, you know what I'm saying? But then when I start seeing multiple people, multiple, and when I say multiple, I mean multiple people with the same ideology, then I ask myself, how are you able to do your job, your civic job, the job that we all talk about? We hear people always say, I put my life on the line, I took an oath. And you talk about this oath that you took, but you feel the way you feel. Where's that's the hypocrisy in it, where if you feel the way you feel, because Kevin, I honestly know if you gave a person a ticket, they one of two things. First, they broke the law. That's why you pulled them over. 2, you have discretion, depending on what deems, maybe with a supervisor, maybe we're not able to use certain longitude and latitude. Maybe they mouthed off at you. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. Because we all know, and we try to tell people out there all the time, if you mouth off at an officer, most of 9 out of 10 times, you're going to get that ticket.
You
You're
think
going to
9
get
out of
that.
10 is it? You're being nice.
Yeah,
99 out of 100.
exactly. You're going to get that ticket. So thinking that you can sit there and mouth off and think you can do what you see people on TV or do, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. So I just, like I said, I have a big problem with that. And I was talking to somebody today, and we were talking about crime, and 45 says about how all the Democratic states have the most lawlessness in crime and the thing. So another person was talking about, well, you're the president of the United States, and then he blames it on the governors and the Democratic states. So my thing is, you took initiative when it was the MS-13s, and you sit here and you talk about who you are. You know, when we talk about how much crime and things are happening, I don't care what he wants to say, what governor is not doing this or what governors are not doing that. This is all happening under the president's watch. He's still the president of the free world. You know what I'm saying? As he changes post offices and other memorandums and things of that magnitude and says this and says that, he's still the man, supposed to be the man in charge. What's your take on that? What's your feeling on that?
Okay, so look, the president is the man in charge, but still, like de Blasio runs New York City, and crime is his responsibility. It is not. It is not the president's. The mayor of Chicago, crime is her responsibility. It is. The FBI is really the president's wing, right? Right. So what does the FBI investigate? They can investigate bigger long-term things. Can they do a long-term case into MS-13? Sure. It's not really, do they do cases of terrorism, domestic and incident? 100%, that's them. But they're not handling shootings. The federal government doesn't actually have laws to handle those. Like they can't make an arrest for a gun unless there's something, it's called trigger lock, unless there's an added factor. But you possessing a gun in New York City on the street is not a federal crime unless you're like you've been convicted of domestic violence, you've been arrested, you're a convicted felon. So the federal government's not responsible for and can't police our cities. And I don't think we want them to go one step further.
I get it. It's always going to be a discrepancy and an argument. Red states, blue states, and things of that magnitude. I just wanted to get your take on that. First and foremost, second and third, and this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm Bill Foster with Kevin Branzetti. We're waiting for another individual to come in. My old high school person. And if anybody out there wants to chime in, and wants to talk to Kevin and myself, please inbox me and I'll send you the link, and we can talk to you and see what you got to say and how you're feeling about certain things and issues that are pertaining to us. One thing, everybody out there, please get out there and vote. That's very important. Get out there and vote. Yeah, he's keep asking for his link.
Yeah, is this him? Because I sent it to him.
Yes.
I sent it to him.
Yes.
Malika, how many days?
We're at about 47, 48. But
I expect an exact number out of you.
I know. Don't hold it against me today.
So, Bill, I'd like to go backwards for a second to the beginning of our conversation, which was Breonna Taylor.
Yes.
And the fact that we're sitting here going, we have some opinions and there's a lot. And, a couple of months ago, we did talk about this, in depth. And the big problem is that I see with that one is the lack of knowledge, right? Going out there, right? And this is what sometimes it's police departments intentionally trying to hide it. Sometimes it's what they legally are obligated to do. And there's a mixture of that. We can go into what they can or can't. But that's one of the things that needs to change in law enforcement, right? if you have a shooting or an incident, police commissioners should have an established team, right? And I think it should be made up of some local politician or two, a community leader or two, police department union official, right? Bring in a group of people, meet with them monthly, quarterly, whatever, just to chat so you know each other. But when an incident happens, bring that group in, go over what happened. And there are things that you can't publicly release, right? You can't put everything out into the public because there may be an arrest, and you can't, dirty the jury pool, because then your jury will not, your trial will not happen in that city. And I can give you plenty of examples of that. But bring those people in, right? So it's a little bit of mixture of community, public official, union official. So every side is being heard. Give them the details. Let them know how it's being handled, and let them be your spokesman and go out. Nip things in the bud. But we let these things fester. Conspiracy theories to true leaks come out, and all sorts of craziness starts to come. There's not one incident that's ever occurred that hiding it has helped it.
Right.
It will never help. What happened recently in Rochester, right? They thought they can make that, take their time with that one and hide as long as they could. It's worse now. Right. It is much better. And there's a few police officials out there in cities that do this, that they come out right away. They have a conversation. We're going to handle it. They bring in some community leaders and they change it. And I'll go back to, and I've talked about this a little bit over the last couple of weeks, Detroit, how Detroit has handled all of the stuff that's gone on in this country the last bunch of months. They haven't had any riots in Detroit because they brought the police commissioner, the mayor, and community leaders together. And they talked about it beforehand when it all started. And they said, not in our city. We will make sure this, Detroit's had its issues. It's trying to rebuild itself. They've had no fires. They've had no Molotov cocktails thrown at cops.
Right.
But people are there. They're protesting and they're angry.
Yeah.
It was handled differently. They talked first. And then,
communication is key, and that's the good thing. First, let me just say hello to Billy. He's in with us now finally. Hello, Sir William. Are you frozen? You might have to go back out. And as we find out how to find Jesus Christ over here, let me stop.
I guess because we're not Facebook friends, maybe that's why.
We gotta get Billy, but he came in. He'll have to come back. I want to read some comments and things like that magnitude. Mark said, Kevin, the fact that the NRA hasn't supported any shootings when the defenders were black, but they have went out of a limb on the jack. Excuse me. They went out
on a limb on who shot Trevor Martin.
Exactly, and that's true.
Did they? Mark, throw a link in there for an article on that. I've never read anything on the NRA actually supporting.
Well, stand your ground, and they I think they back that punk, what's his name? And Manny says, what did Manny says? Why not place signs on your lawn if you denounce the bad cops? You fly the thin blue line flags in front of your homes, either your friends or foe. Exactly.
I don't fly anything in front of my home.
No, not you personally, but and Manny's is former law enforcement too. Exactly. Thank you for speaking out, Manny. I know. And of course, Colin, like you said, of course, blue lives matter. But like the one thing too, people understand the thing. I've never seen a blue person, and that's what's so crazy. How anytime, and I always say this, and I say this to anybody out there listening, anytime a person of color speaks up about something, you have somebody denouncing it. Because let me tell you something, and we're going to go into of sports with that, but Black Lives Matter. All of a sudden, law enforcement came out of there with Blue Lives Matter, right? Now, the bottom line is, like we always said, and Black Lives Matter has always said, they've never denounced any other lives matter. But Black lives can't matter if all lives don't matter. So when we start separating lives, because all we want to do is, I think black people want to be is just equal lives matter. You know what I mean? And it's always some kind of terminology or verbiage that people have a problem with. And I don't, we don't say or different kinds of cancer matter. You know what I'm saying? So
Yeah,
cancer.
but I got nothing against saying blue lives matter. I don't. I get. See, we're it's another one of these things. I think it goes on the same premise as Black Lives Matter, right? Where the majority are using it for what it is, and then there are the fringe group who use it and are terrorists and firebombing and killing.
Mm-hmm.
I could say, but I support Blue Lives Matter, right? I told you from day one. My belief is I bleed blue. You said blue people don't exist. I'm going to bleed blue till the day I die.
Let me just interject. God bless you. Let me just interject for a second when you say you bleed blue. I get it. That's like I bleed Knicks. I bleed Yankees. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And so I get that, but I do not put that in front of ethnicity. I do not put that.
But you're allowed to say blue lives matter. If you're saying, what some of them are saying is F Black lives matter, blue lives matter.
Exactly.
Now, if that's what you're saying is different. That's what I'm saying. It's context. Hang on a second, Bill. Let me show you something.
Go ahead. And as you say that, I'll add Sir William. What's up, Bill?
Oh my God. Hi, how are you?
It was like looking for Nemo with you, bro. Where you been? You know?
My headset got tied up.
The link I had from last week kept taking me to that.
No, baby, it's everything is new, brother. Everything is new. Hold on, Kevin wants to show us something. Go ahead, Kevin. Oh, okay, Blue Lives Matter, and I get it.
All right,
I get it.
Now, I have it.
Yeah,
actually,
baby.
my kids bought it. Actually, my kids bought it for me.
Mm-hmm.
So it has a little extra special meaning in my life, and they bought that for me a few years ago.
Right.
Which what I'm getting at is they bought this for me in 2016, 2017.
Mm-hmm.
So Blue Lives Matter phrase has been around a while. It's not a new one.
Right.
There's a lot of people who don't like.
Even know.
There's a lot of anti-cop movement out there. So the Blue Lives Matter to me is about, saying no. Cops aren't scum, slime, garbage, racist people. Their lives matter. That's to me.
Right.
What it means.
Well, what's so funny? I think it's good to put a spin on it, and we're going to bring Billy in here and get a bunch of his opinion.
I pay attention to words, my friend.
Yeah. Well, you know what the funny thing is? I don't know how long Black Lives Matter, the verbiage has been out there. I know we've always been supportive of blue. I don't remember when Blue Lives Matter terminology came to fruition. I'm not disagreeing with you. I mean, but I know we've always talked about blue. You know what I'm saying? We know that. But with that being said, I want to shout out everybody out there that's watching. We have some comments, Kev. As I asked Billy to comment on some things, look at. So this is Real Talk Chronicles. I'm your host, Bill Foster, co-host Kevin Branzetti, and my lovely wife, Malika Foster, in the background. We have a special guest, Mr. Billy, in the building. Ulcis, right? See, I said it right? Yeah. I said it right in high school, and then I lost it after that, But that was a term of endearment that we gave you. So, Billy, we're going to bring you right back in here. This thing, real quick. First and foremost, how was your day? It was good. You had a good day.
Everything was great. How about you guys?
Okay, everything is great. So we were talking about Breonna Taylor. We were talking about that the family settled for $12 million. Which was not that the settlement, not the monetary value, but we're talking about the settlement happened very soon. What's your take on Breonna Taylor being just a civilian in that situation?
I gotta be honest. That's the one that I didn't pay as much attention to, so I'm really not informed. I don't know, exactly what was going on there. I know it was a no-knock warrant, and she ended up shot as well. I don't have a lot of details on that one.
Okay. So what I will ask you is what situation do you have? You think you have some kind of knowledge on? I'll ask, and as you think about that, I'll ask you a question. Recently, what was the young lady that just won the tennis thing? I don't want to mess up her name. The what, Naomi Lasaka, something of that magnitude.
Yeah.
Yes, I don't want to butcher her name, but a lot of people have, and I'm asking you, I'm gonna start with you, Billy, and then I'll come to you, Kevin. A lot of people right now are having problems with athletes speaking out on political issues. Now, I think it's great that they're doing it because they have a platform, and people will listen to them. I think a lot of times people right now have a problem when it's social issues, when it's issues of police brutality and racism. Now, I'm going to say this, and then I'm going to let you answer. They don't have a problem when it's breast cancer month. You don't have a problem when it's prostate cancer. You don't have a problem when they wear you know, the hats of 9/11. You know, first responders and things like that. You don't have a problem when they're supporting not FD. You don't have a problem when they supporting PD. So why do you have a problem of them supporting things that are so closely prevalent to them? And I'm not talking about you, Billy, of course. I'm just talking about people in general. And you might, I don't know, after you answer this, you might feel that way. I don't know, but I don't understand why people have such a problem with athletes speaking out and talking about all they need to do is, i.e., as it was once was termed, shut up and dribble, or you know, they had a problem with the Yankees wearing Black Lives Matter. Hockey has worn Black Lives Matter shirts. So, Billy, what's your take on athletes speaking up for racial justice?
You know, I think anybody who wants to speak up can speak up.
Right, right.
I think as a lot of this has been discussed, not all of it's been gone about the right way. You know, people are doing things that in other people's opinion are making things worse. I saw a whole thing on the NFL, a whole list of things that they printed about players that wanted to wear certain color sneakers and certain this, which is contradictory to what you just said, you know, about supporting this, supporting that. There was one where 5 cops in Dallas were shot, and then the Cowboys wanted to wear something to support that, and the NFL said no. People have been fined for wearing the wrong color cleats in support of a different cause. So it's not actually how you just said it is. It's for years they've been frowning upon that, and so some people have an adverse opinion to what you just said. Where why is it okay now to support Black Lives Matter when you couldn't support, you know, those other causes?
Yeah. Okay.
So that part is true, but I mean, they you know, NFL players have been fined for wearing, you know, something on them to support breast cancer, something to support autism and other stuff. They've been absolutely not allowed to wear it. There is no change of uniform. So this was the first exception they've ever made. Well, now the argument is that exception fine?
If you dig into it, there's a whole list of things that were, you know, said, no, don't do that. You know, even the end zone celebration, you know, is that not his freedom of speech or his right to?
You're muted, Bill.
You're muted.
You're still muted.
I'm sorry. What was your question, Billy? I apologize.
I was saying, if you dig into it, there's a list of things that, you know, the NFL specifically has said, no, you can't do that about. You know, somebody even mentioned the end zone celebrations where they're fining them for excessive celebration. Isn't that a right to free speech?
Well, now it's open to everybody. Now they took away that policy, and you can celebrate end zone. So, Billy, let me ask you a question. What was your take on it when Colin Kaepernick took a knee? What was your feelings on that? Bill,
well, you know, I'm pro-America, so I don't know. I'm pro-America. You know, he could have knelt the whole game as far as I'm concerned, but I don't shouldn't. You know, in my house, we stand in front of the TV. We stand for the national anthem.
You stand in your house? Yep.
And there's So I'm sure many people will agree. There's so many ways that one can make a difference. One can take a stand. I mean, he did it on national TV because there's how many millions of people watching. So he got the attention he needed. That's for sure. But you know, I don't know. I don't think during the national anthem it was the right time. That's just my opinion.
So let me ask you a
I
question.
don't think the national anthem has anything to do with police brutality.
You say that again. You said you don't think the national anthem has. What did you say? I'm sorry.
Has anything to do with racism I don't think it has anything to do with racism or police brutality. Those are people. That's not the country. That's not America. That's not what the flag stands for.
So let me ask you a question. And this is real talk. Mute yourself or turn down your phone, Billy. The one thing that I respect your opinion because that's what this is real talk. When we have opinions, no one is right or wrong. So I mean that's why we have a dialogue. But let me ask you a question. Do you know about the verbiage in the national anthem and what it was meant for and what it stood for?
I've seen some stuff. I don't know. I can't quote it, but I've read a few things about it.
Okay. And what do you feel about the things that you've heard?
And I've seen things that have contradicted. Can you bring me the speakers?
Kev, what's your take on kneeling for the national anthem or standing or protesting?
Well, you and I have talked about this a bunch of times. This is actually how we started talking again, right? Kind of thing.
Right.
But I want to say this, be consistent. If an athlete wants to use the stage to support Black Lives Matter, you're fine with that. And another athlete wants to take the stage to support Blue Lives Matter, you got to be fine with that. And if another one wants to take the stage and support Donald Trump, you got to be fine with that. Right? That's my stance at this point, right? It's show consistency. Don't be I'm for it because because the guy's following my beliefs and what it's in my heart or what I think is right. And then we support it. It's you got to support the right to protest, the right to speak up. And no matter what the person's speaking up for or against.
Okay. All right. That's fair enough. I mean, the bottom line is, like I said, this is Real Talk Chronicles, where your opinion counts. Everybody's opinions matter. I'm going to read some of the comments coming in right now. Let me see who I can go back. Like I said, first and foremost, I'd like to thank everybody for chiming in. If you like Real Talk Chronicles, share it. It's on YouTube, Real Talk Chronicles. So, shout out to Carlos Castro, my martial arts 028 brother in the building. Lewis said, LOL, all cancers matter. You're right. You might have something there, Bill Force. You're right. Manny said, who says that the right way to show support? There is no right. Bill, mute yourself. Mark said, no, they gave those issues a month to bring to light. Yep. Doug, the change whole uniforms pink for cancer. They do. Man,
some sports do. The NFL is not one of baseball does that, but the NFL was always very strict on. You can look. There's a lot. You can look it up. There's a lot of players who've gotten fined over the last decade.
Well, I know the NFL lets them wear the gloves and the cleats.
Yeah, they did change that one, but that's uniform. It's done. You're right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, the NFL. Basketball probably is the only one, and they're probably not playing ball at that time that don't really show anything of that magnitude. But I'm sure if basketball was around that time, they would do that. Manny Ramirez said it was never against America or the flag. You're missing the point. I'm assuming he's talking to either you or Billy. He's talking to Bill. Douglas, he said he was bringing attention to something that he felt strongly about, and he did it at the time when it would get the most recognition, which I got mad at. Nolene, if that's not what the flag stands for, but it's happening, why stand for the flag? Good question. What's up, Mike? Doug. No, you look at the NFL, them that we're wearing pink for all the kids. I'm sorry, you need to check your facts. Deborah, check your facts. Uh, they go hard for. I don't know who you're talking to, Doug. Um, let's see. Mark Lewis. If he sat down, that would have been disrespectful. We kneel before kings and queens, so cultures touch the ground before the feet of elders. Very true. As a vet, kneeling was not disrespectful. What people were bent out of shape was his explanation for the kneeling, and that's from a vet. So I get it. I respect that. What's up, Gwen? Mark, you're a vet. How did you feel about that? You might want to share to him, Bill, who the colonial Marines were. They brought about the national anthem. So there's a lot to talk about that, and we can always bring that up. So, Bill, let me ask you a question. Kevin and I was on it, and I'm glad I'm bringing you in, and I appreciate you, like always, coming in and giving me your insight and sharing your input. What recently, two officers were shot in L.A., ambushed, and it's a travesty. And our prayers, Kevin and I send our prayers out to them, of course. And there were protesters in front of the hospital talking about, I hope they die. Well, of course, everybody that's anti-Black Lives Matter has thrown a spin on it and says Black Lives Matter was out there protesting. There's no proof of that yet. And I think personally that when people are someplace and they shout Black Lives Matter, they automatically, yes, they automatically say that they're Black Lives Matter they're the organizers or they're part of the organization. I think Black Lives Matter has become a slogan. Is a movement. I think a lot of white people and some black people, whomever, better get used to it because it's around in every sport in this world right now. People are wearing Black Lives Matter like putting they're putting the bumper stickers on their car, just like they put repping their college or their high school or their jobs. So some people out there better get used to it. I don't know how you feel about that. So what is your take on the Black Lives Matter movement, Bill?
That's a big one. Like we were talking. Why are you laughing? We were talking last week. Racism is racism.
Right.
People, it's wrong. But all of what's going on, and brought on by the wrong people and the wrong causes. I think that a lot of it's political. I think that it's become a political thing. People are starting. I think it's getting blown out of proportion. I said last week, I don't see. I have felt that we as a people had come much further than they've depicted us. Racism right now, the way I see the movement, as you called it, as their view,
right.
I don't see racism that way. I thought it was, and maybe because I'm white, like you said, but I thought things were better. I thought things had come quite a ways, even from the '60s with Martin and people like that. So many changes have been made over the years, and I think now the level, there's people that aren't part of it, the Antifa and all of that are screwing it up and making it worse. And then, what they've done to the police and how the crime is escalated. Do you think it's making things better? I don't. I think things are worse right now.
I think the reason why I think things are worse is because I think people had a problem with Obama being president, and he was a man of color, and a lot of people started just spewing a lot of negativity. I think 45 got into office, and he just kept the fire burning, and hasn't done anything to de-escalate the rhetoric out there. And he was on TV last night in the town hall, and they asked him what he felt about it. He talking about a whole bunch of other nonsense. He has not yet come out and said, "Well, damn, you know, we need to stop this rhetoric." Protesters. He's never denounced the Nazis. When what you would call it? They were when they was out there in North Carolina and a young lady got killed. He's on both sides. So when you just keep the fire flame burning, you're not going to ever have peace. And I think right now this new generation is tired. They're not taking what we're trying to take. They're not marching to march. They're marching to fight. And I think the Antifa and the antagonizers have joined forces or piggybacked with them, and they have used the Black Lives Matter movement to infiltrate and wreak havoc on people. They really have. I think for people not to think that there isn't a race problem right now, it's crazy. That's why this is so beautiful to have, you two guys, or especially you, Bill, come on and speak your feelings with no judgment. I mean, people are going to judge you anyway. They're going to judge me. They're going to judge Kevin. I mean, it is what it is. But I appreciate you. You know what I'm saying? We go back from 1979. You know what I'm saying? So it is what it is. And you have a right to your feelings. Exactly. There it is. That's the graduation year, baby. That's it. That's the graduation year. So I say all that to say that there's so many people out here that have feelings on these things. But, if you're comparing the 60s to now, yeah, things are better because I can drink at a water fountain with you. But the bottom line is, can I go someplace and still not have somebody call me out my name?
Can I?
Well, you're right, but you have white privilege. I don't have black privilege.
Depends on where we go.
Well, the bottom line is, all right, go ahead, talk about it.
Last week too. Certain places I'm not welcome because I'm white. Right? We talked about that too. There are places I'm not welcome because I'm white. I've been told so. So it's really no different when you compare that.
So you think it's equal? You think you really think there's equal? What's your take on that, Kevin? No, go ahead, Billy. You're coming in kind of choppy, so I maybe or
there's a lot of hate in the world in general.
Mm-hmm. Hold on, I'm just going to read some comments real quick.
Yeah, you too. Maybe it's my internet because you've been broken up a couple times.
Yeah.
So Bill Foster's coming in clear on mine. Billy, so it's yours.
Billy, you got to get a black internet. You got to get a fair internet system right there. You can't get that. That internet. Hold on.
Or he's got to get off his bootleg internet.
Yeah. You can't buy a stick, Real Talk Chronicles, baby. You can't buy a stick.
Stop stealing your neighbor's internet, Billy.
Like Lewis said, exactly. Prior to the U.S. making this song and anthem, "Oh Beautiful" was sung in the public schools, which is more representational of society. What's up, Sal's in the building? Miss Span, what's up? She said, "What I noticed is that white people don't believe the events actually happened to us. They think the media is making it up, and black people are following the news." Very good point, sister. She says racism is not political.
Explain that one to me, Bill. I read that and I don't understand that statement.
What she's saying is what I've noticed is that white people don't believe that the events are actually happening to us. Basically that's self-explanatory. That what we see on the TV, a person getting beat, and we'll say a white person in a similar scenario, and he's getting talked to. Like I can send you things.
We can send bad videos of everybody all day long. I could.
Yeah, but the bad videos of when we see white people getting in have interaction with law enforcement, they're not getting shot, Kevin.
Whoa! We've gone through that. Statistically, I told you, I got you on that one. More white people get shot every year.
Yeah, I mean, statistically, you're talking about that, but when we're talking about a escalation from a traffic stop, right?
But my thing is, Bill, we don't see those other videos, right? Here's my, and I get the ratio of black to white in the country, but we've gone through the numbers. There are more white men shot every year than black men by cops, armed and unarmed, more every year. Can you name one?
No, absolutely not.
Because you have not seen one in the news. Why is that not make the news?
I have no answer to that. But what I can say is that listen, and we can Google it right now. I'll grab Malika's phone. It has come out, as you say, the Washington Post says that people of color have died at the hands of law enforcement more than white people. So
percentage wise, but number wise.
What else are we talking about if we ain't talking about that?
But what I'm still talking about is there's more white men killed every year by cops, but we don't hear of them. We know nothing. We know nothing of those stories. I can't prove that. I just did. I just did. You can't name one. You can't name one.
No, you said do I know of more white? Do I know about white men getting killed? No, I do not, because people keep showing. But see, you know what? Now, how about this? And you're right, because the media doesn't show that. But how many times do they show white on white crime? Now, if they talk about,
they're biased across the board. Billy, I've talked about this too with you. They don't care about brown girls go missing. They don't care about brown girls who get killed. Right. You're a pretty white blonde girl. You're in the news forever. Yes. Forever. And this is not one way. They're across the board. I don't like the media.
Right. And, and this is the thing that it's happening out here. I think Billy's trying to come back. I hope he got his internet together. I see him.
How did it feel about what happened to George Floyd? I mean, we all watched that.
So Malika asked a question. Thank you for coming back, Bill. Malika has a question that she wants to ask you guys. I'll start with you, Billy, and then I'll go to you, Kevin. Billy, what's your take on George Floyd? How did you feel about what you saw with George Floyd?
Well, the guy was definitely not a good cop. I mean, he was kneeling on him. Whether or not he killed him, I wasn't there, so I don't know that he killed him. There's all kinds of information about overdosing and that he was already high on something, and then he took some other drugs before they pulled him out of his car that he was trying to get rid of. So they're saying I've seen that he overdosed. I don't know that man actually killed him. I do know that man was wrong in the way he was kneeling on him with his hands in his pockets like he was hot shit. Like I said, I don't know that he physically killed him, but I do know that that wasn't a good look for him as a person or a police officer.
But didn't we
just poor behavior. What's that?
Yeah.
I said, didn't we watch him stop moving on camera? Like, we watched him die on camera.
All right, but we don't know that he killed him. They said how do we know he didn't overdose and die?
Okay, so you think he would have just died just sitting there on the sidewalk?
I don't know. I'm not a doctor, but I do know that it's possible to die from an overdose.
That's not what I'm saying. I'm not saying that people can't die from an overdose, but we all watched the exact same video. We watched him kneeling on his neck. We watched him squirming around for just under 9 minutes, and we watched him stop moving. Like, those are facts. We all watched the same thing.
Yeah, I watched it.
Okay.
Okay. What's your take? What's your take, Kevin?
Mine's simple. He killed him.
Exactly.
And there's only a few times I can honestly say where I would just say that fast and that quickly. I think there was a shooting in Chicago and a shooting in the South somewhere where he killed him.
Right.
Whether the drugs in his system helped push that along, so what? Is my answer to that. If he kneeled on his neck for 10 seconds and he died, I have a different thought on that. He kneeled on his neck for 9 minutes while the guy's cuffed laying on the floor. Why? There's no law enforcement There's no law enforcement purpose for that.
What'd you say, Bill? What'd you say, Bill?
I was trying to add to that is that, maybe if they got him in an ambulance sooner, or he wasn't that long, he wouldn't have died. Who knows? But you know what I'm saying?
Bill, but that's just such a far off hypothetical, right? Like if they would have if he didn't put his knee in his neck for 9 minutes and they had him cuffed and brought him to the precinct and he died, that's a different scenario. But he put his knee on his neck, right? Like he held him there like that. He put him in that position, and there's no law enforcement. I can argue lots of other law enforcement things, and there are things me and Bill will go at it on, where I disagree with Bill's assessment on. Mm-hmm. This one you can't get much clearer, and I've seen the things, Billy, going around out there. There's somebody who, and I don't know if that autopsy thing is real. I've seen that professional-looking autopsy report that somebody leaked.
Right.
I don't know if that's real.
Mm-hmm. And I don't say no. I'm just saying. I'm playing devil's advocate. I don't even know how they got on that side of the car, because I saw two videos. One, they were walking him to a car, and the next clip, he's kneeling on him outside of a different car. So how did that even come to be that went that way? He kneeled on
him for 9 minutes. The clips, what becomes tough weeks and months after, is trying to find a good original clip. He kneeled on him for 9 minutes. There's no, that's not it. There's no disputing that one at this point.
Well, so time is a factor. Time is the factor, and like I said, it was a bad look for him, because he had his hands in his pockets and he's all cavalier, like he's hot shit. There's also rumors that they knew each other previously. Maybe he had it in for him. Maybe he was like, I finally got this MF, and he was giving him an extra dose.
There's no question he was giving him an extra dose.
Well, but maybe there's their history.
I don't care if there's history. That actually makes that ups the charge. Now you got intent.
Now it's premeditated, right?
Now it's intent, right? You're upping the charge. If you're telling me, the cop knew him and was angry with him for previous incident, we've now upped the charge to murder 1, probably, or murder 2, however that law works.
Like I said from the beginning, because I'm sure the comments are coming in, it was wrong all around. I'm just not.
You didn't say that in the beginning. You didn't say that in the beginning.
Yes, I did. The first thing I said was it was a complete bad look for him as a person. Never mind a police officer.
Okay, but you know what's so funny? And let me just say this to put that spin on it. Okay, yeah, you did say that it was a bad look. A bad look is, damn, we're going to a party and I should have went left, but I went right. I went late. You know what I'm saying? Like
you can have a bad look on the street, Bill.
Wait a minute, Kevin. A bad look.
It's an expression. It's not.
I know what you're saying, Bill.
Don't take it literally. Expression. It's not.
Yeah, I understand what you're saying. I understand what you're saying. I'm just saying terminology. So what about Ahmaud Arbery? What do you think about that situation, Bill? What about the young man that was jogging in Georgia, and the three white men, two jumped off the truck and they shot him because they thought
that's murder. That's murder, and the guy who recorded it should go to jail too, because he watched it while he filmed it.
I don't know if I get the camera guy. I have to know a little more about the camera guy, but
how do you see something like that and not do something?
So what is he supposed to do with the guy with a shotgun? What is he supposed to do?
I don't know. Run him over. Or call 911. How about call 911 at least?
That's different. There are lots of crazy people who watch things with their camera phone.
All right. So let me ask you a question, Bill.
That's a big part of it, though.
So let me ask you a question, and you can chime in on this. If you think the man with the camera should be charged with something, what do you think the officer should be charged with in the George Floyd case? Do you think they should be charged?
He's got to be charged with something. I don't know.
Not him. I'm talking about the other officers that stood by and let it happen.
I don't know. I don't know how that'll all really work. I mean, I don't think they thought he was killing him. You know, that's just my opinion. I don't know if anybody. I wasn't there, so I can't really speak, and that's what I say. And like you said, these are opinions. These are all opinions. I don't know anything. Half the videos we see are mid video, excluding on Facebook. Half the stuff you post. We were arguing about the most recent one with the traffic ticket. It was a moving violation. How are they home? How are they home receiving a moving violation? You know, so nobody really knows except Floyd and those cops. You know, everything you see is it's hard to really.
I agree with you on. There's lots of things and lots of videos where a second view and more details matters. Floyd doesn't fall in that category. I wished. Look, it broke me, right? Like I can't watch things like that, right? To see, that's a brother in blue,
Yeah.
And I don't like to see that. I don't like bad police work. Forget about cops killing somebody, right? And I had hoped and prayed something would come out, another video, another angle. Somebody spliced the video and did so. It ain't there.
Right.
That is what happened. That 9 minutes on his neck is the 9 minutes on his neck. There's no.
Okay. Yeah.
There's no.
That I agree with.
There's no second thing.
That I agree with. Because, but again, why was he kneeling on him for 9 minutes? Why were they holding him? Why were they? How did they get to that position?
He's gonna have a lot of years to think about it.
Yes, he will.
No, but
there's no. I said there's
you
no
guys are
law
both
enforcement.
cops.
We're all cops. There's no law enforcement.
Yeah,
purpose.
but have you ever had to hold somebody down that was?
Don't get me wrong. If he was spitting on them, kicking them while he was cuffed, different animal, completely different thing. This is the guy was laying there. He didn't do
another
anything.
guy was holding his feet. Weren't they trying to get him? Hold him. I don't know why.
They just had him on the floor. They just had him on the floor and they had knees on him.
And what's the explanation for what? Did they ever give one?
They're going to have to give one in front of a jury at some point.
Exactly.
I'd like to hear that because
Well, I think you in the world, like we would love to hear that, and so would I. So
no,
Billy,
because why do you do it otherwise? Did he say let's hold him down until he dies?
No, but he did.
No, right.
It doesn't matter what he says. There are scenarios where intent matters, where what you thought in your head matters. There's a lot of those. This ain't one of them. It's 9 minutes of the guy's laying on the floor and a knee in his neck.
Yeah, but we don't know why.
I don't. And Bill, you know me. I like the word why, and I will always ask the word why. Bill and I could get into fights about the word why.
Yeah.
But don't you want to know why? Don't you want to know why before you hang him?
He's got to explain why.
So hold on, Kevin. Let me ask you a question. So you're are you saying why makes it different?
I don't know. It may. I don't know. I don't know because we don't know why.
Give me a scenario where why makes it different in this case.
What do you mean?
If you're a juror, you're a juror. You're sitting in there. You're doing this case. Why that you would need to hear that you would say, okay, he's right. I can understand why he sat on his neck for 8 minutes.
I don't know. I'm assuming they were having trouble getting him into the car. If he was high.
Do you know that he was in the car and they took him back out of the car? And
why? Do we know why?
No, we don't.
All right. So was it to kneel on him and kill him? We don't know that either, right?
But we know what happened. We know what we saw.
Doesn't matter. The end result is
we saw the video.
Huh?
They probably took him out of the car because he was probably being, kicking, spitting in the car. But
first and foremost, if anybody saw the body cam footage,
probably,
when they put him in the car,
maybe we don't know.
We don't know what. What is it that you said we don't know?
We don't know any of that. That's what I'm saying.
No, they have footage. They have footage. They have footage of him saying that he was claustrophobic. and he asked them not to leave him in the car because he was claustrophobic. Now, anybody that knows about claustrophobia, if you're in a closed space, you're going to freak out. I don't know if that's the reason why they brought him back out, but I do know that he had no reason to be on the ground. The man was in cuffs. The man was already in cuffs. Now, Billy, I'm gonna give you from Kevin and I's standpoint, right? I'm gonna give you Lauren.
But the man was high on methamphetamine too, right?
But he wasn't moving. That's the thing, Billy. Like I said, have I held people down? Hell yeah.
Saying or doing anything.
He's spitting on me. He's kicking. He's yeah. You can hold him, and we'll hold him. Until some. We used to have ESU come and they strap him. The guy wasn't doing anything.
I wasn't there the first 8 minutes, so I don't know. I don't know. All I'm saying is, was it wrong that he was sick? Yeah.
So everybody, this is Real Talk.
He ultimately
hold on, everybody. This is
yeah. But did he go out look?
So you're talking about intent. Are you trying to say that if did he go out intentionally looking for George Floyd that day? That makes a difference in your eye. If he ran across him like, oh, I finally got him. You know what I'm saying?
We don't know, right? That's what I'm saying. We don't know.
All right.
All I'm saying is kneeling on him for that long was wrong.
Right.
Ultimately, they're responsible because they didn't get him the he needed or whatever. But for some reason, he stayed on the ground for 9 minutes. And with this idiot kneeling on his head didn't help, right? So he died.
Okay, so let me just.
But nobody knows if this guy did it and said, "I'm going to kill this guy right now. You guys go back to the car." It's not like Chicago PD where they stash the gun when he before the sergeant comes. At least I hope not.
So let me ask you a question. First, let me just say this. I want to thank everybody for chiming in. People are really feeling you tonight, Bill. And I appreciate you.
I can't see the comments.
Let me tell you something. I think people need to hear certain ideologies and certain mindsets. So whether they agree or disagree, let me tell you something. I appreciate you for coming in and saying what you want to say. This is Real Talk Chronicles, everybody. You're more than welcome to be a part of this panel, or in the future, or now, if you want to. Anybody that wants to chime in, please inbox me. I'll send you some link. I'll send you the link so you can chime in and say anything. Please like it and share it. I have Bill here. I have Kevin here. My lovely wife Malika's in the back.
Know if he's a cop or not.
No, Bill's not a cop, everybody. So as we talk about more racial issues and things of that magnitude, Bill, I want to ask you a question. Did you see the Mr. Blake shooting?
Which one is he?
What's the man? Mr. Blake. I forgot his first name. He just got shot 7 times in the back by the officer in
the car, going around the car.
Yeah, Jacob Blake. Did you see that shooting?
Some of it. I'd be honest. I sort of been staying away from the TV because there's so much going on that it's kind of getting hard to watch. I did see it. I do know, a little bit about it.
What's your take on
it? I don't know. Again, I wasn't there, so I don't know why they shot him 7 times. I don't know what led up to that. There's so many things. I don't know what gets into people's head. Last week we were talking about good cops versus bad cops, and some people shouldn't be cops. Some of these young kids. My understanding, and I don't know if it's just here in New York, but it's my understanding that most cops go their entire career without discharging their weapon. So how are all these people just shooting people? Who's, I've seen more shootings this summer on the TV than I have my whole life. I don't know maybe there's just more attention being drawn to it. I don't know, but I don't know. I don't know him. I don't know them. I don't know why they shot him.
Okay, Kevin,
He was
take me
going
into the Kevin, take me into a mind of a law enforcement officer. We talked about it again, but I want Billy to hear this, and for the people out there listening, I just want to take your take on this from your standpoint, and I'll give mine. Tactically, give me a standpoint from a tactical situation, even from maybe a supervisor, which you were, and just what you saw. I know we still wait for more information. I get that, but just
Oh,
give me some
we're
insight.
talking about the Blake shooting, right?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So I mean, look, the mistake they had. Look, and we've all done this, Bill, as cops, right? You pull your gun out, tell the guy to freeze, and they don't. And they don't have deadly physical force in there. They don't have a weapon of something that could commit deadly physical force. It's time to put hands on, and you got to put your gun away. And you could take out your stick, you could take out your mace, or you can use your hands, and it's time to get it on. Right. And that's where that went haywire, right? They kept doing the freeze, pointing the gun as he's moving. The mistake was, we were taught, I was taught, hands on quick.
Now, didn't you say last week?
We're also big city cops, and there's a difference, right? Like with us, sometimes with these things. Well, not sometimes, all the time. I go on my radio and I say, we need a second car here. In 10 seconds, there's another car. In 45 seconds, there's 5 cars. In 5 minutes, there's 75 cops there. That does not happen in the sticks. It's 20 minutes for the next guy. It could be, but it's still 2 cops. Put your gun away. It's time to get your hands out. That's the mistake. They clearly saw his hands, so there's nothing in his hands. He may have been screaming, "I'll kill you! I'm going to go get something out of my car." Don't let him get to the car. That's the answer. I don't care if he was screaming. I got a gun in the car, and I'm going to shoot both of you. Well, Bill and I would have tackled you, and you wouldn't have got to the car.
Yeah.
And
Why did
that's
they
it.
do that?
It's a mistake. That part's a mistake. I can't tell you why
Didn't they fight with him on the other side of the car
Yep.
and lose?
Yep.
So now what?
So are you saying because you lose with your hands, you're supposed to shoot? I mean,
I don't know. What's next? Taser, I guess. Why didn't they tase him?
I use my mace on a lot of
let
people.
me ask you a question, Bill.
Or the mace. Why didn't they use one of those instead of shooting him?
That's our question. And I don't like to do this. Like I don't like to money quarterback.
That's what I'm saying.
It happens. You're in a scenario. You're in something. You got your gun out. You're pointing at the guy. You're screaming at him, and he moves a few feet. You're screaming at him. He moves more. It just hits that point. Now you're stuck. Right? Was it a tactically good move? No.
No, the gun is the last resort, right?
But now he's getting in the car.
Stay there, Kevin. You said you're right, Bill. The gun is the last resort. So, from a civilian standpoint, you're watching this across the street. Now, you're already speaking to 2 officers right now. We're telling you the gun is the last resort. Do you think that was a good shooting? Because you already said he got his ass kicked on the other side. He beat both, and supposedly he fought both of them on the other side. I think there were 3 officers there, but 2 officers. One officer shot him 7 times. They followed, huh?
No, that's what I'm saying. How do you fire 7 bullets? You know what I mean? Like I never understood that type of thing. Like Kevin said, the mace is a good one. You get maced, you're kind of, then the fight game is over there too, right? Then they could easily take them down. My opinion.
Well, it should have. I mean, the bottom line is, so this is why when we have these conversations, and like I said, this is Real Talk Chronicles, everybody. I appreciate you all chiming in and listening. Anybody that wants to chime in and say anything in the future, you're more than welcome. Just inbox me. We can talk about it, and I'll send you the link, and we can set you up for other shows, upcoming shows. And if you have something to say right now, if we're not going to be on too much longer, we're gonna. You can more than not likely send me the link, inbox me, and I can get you in here now, and you can comment on what Bill has said, or you can agree with Kevin, or you can ask me a question. Whatever.
I thought we were going to pick up where we left off. You guys ambushed me with a lot of this.
Let me say something to you, Billy. Never has Bill called me up, texted me, emailed me, sent me something by carrier pigeon to tell me what we're going to talk about.
Never. Never.
I got 2 pages of notes. Look, where's my camera? I got 2 pages
every week.
of notes over here.
I expect
ready to go, and you're asking me all kinds of shit.
So let me ask you a question. Bill, what did you write down? What did you write down that you wanted to talk about?
Let's see, because let me pick something good.
I have a question. As you take your time to read that, Billy, we want to go back to that. I just got a question from my man Jay. Shout out to Jay Burnett in the building. He asked this question. He says he would love for me to ask my guests, how do they see black men, black people, and are they threatened by them? Billy?
Do I even have to answer that, Bill?
I don't think you do. I think it's more directed at Billy. Well, Billy, are you still reading?
I see threats as threats.
Exactly.
Threat. It's your size could be threatening to me. I've seen some many big men out there, and what you're holding in your hands is threatening to me. But
yeah,
a crowd is threatening.
Yeah.
But I have never. I could say I've never looked or been scared of somebody's skin color.
Yeah, I mean, what's so funny is it's a different world out here. I want to shout out to everybody that's chiming in. I see my man Xavier in the building, powerful lawyer. What's up, brother? I see Mo. I see Mike. I see Brenda McLaughlin. I see Diane. I see a lot of you. You have a lot to say about Mr. Ulsis. Keisha, it is important to acknowledge systematic racism and
implicit bias.
Yes. Keisha, I was waiting for you to inbox me. I thought you were going to inbox me, Keisha. I was going to send you the link so you could come in on this conversation. Manny, you got a special request from my man Manny, so I was going to send you the link. If you can inbox me quick, and I will send you the link so you can come in. Brother Billy, you come back.
Billy's have.
Yeah, Billy, don't disappear now. You didn't fuel the flame, brother. What's up, Max Payne in the building? How are you? What up, Kenneth Hines? Everybody, thank you so much for chiming in. This is Real Talk Chronicles. This is Malika Foster right here. This is Kevin Branzetti over here, and this is Sir William coming back.
I'm back.
And Bill, somebody asked a question. Jay Burnett asked a question. How do you see black people, and are you threatened by them?
Me personally?
Did you hear that question? Yes.
Only in Harlem. No, I'm kidding. Okay. No, I'm not threatened. I'm not threatened. I don't, if somebody steps to me, then I feel threatened, I react, but.
What was the first
Hello?
one? Okay. All right. The first part of the question is, Bill, the question, Malika, refresh my memory. How do you see black people?
With my eyes.
Let's not be funny.
People are people. All right. Like I talked to you last time, people create. This is taught. We're not taught. At least I wasn't taught to be this way. Both my sons are half black. You know that. I see black people as other people.
Mm-hmm. So let me ask you a question. With that being said,
I see Asian
and like I said, let me tell you something. I get it, but I'm going to say, do you think maybe your thought process comes off a little racist? I'm just asking you. Because when you say something Well, when you say something like you see somebody, um, when you say something like when we talk about George Floyd, and I think that was a big, powerful thing. Hold on, hold on, Bill.
So,
Hold
Bill and Billy, I'd like to throw into that, right?
Good.
And Billy's taking a little bit of heat tonight.
But Kevin,
let me,
I appreciate Billy taking his heat
yeah,
because you know what's so funny? In a real talk setting, people don't have these conversations, and I think there are
100%.
a lot. I think there's a lot of people out there that feel like Billy feel that are not saying it. So I respect you, Billy, for being the target because you put the bullseye on your back. And let me tell you something. And I say that because you are saying what you feel, and that's cool with me. Whether I like it, agree with it, or disagree with it, because let me tell you something. This is real talk, and real talk. You saying what you saying. People ain't feeling the shit that you saying. You sound damn near bat crazy on some of the stuff that you said. I mean, that's my personal feeling, right? But I'm telling you my personal feeling. But I respect the fact that you're saying it, and yet I don't agree with it. But as a host and in journalism, it is me to ask the question, and it's you to give the answer. So that's why I respect what you're saying. That's all I'm saying.
How about here? How about here with an open mind? All right, because everybody thinks this is we call the blinders. Some people have blinders on because they're stuck in a time where things were different. You know, not everything is on video, is on Facebook, is real. You know, not everything my ex-wife says. You know, I say you keep saying it till you make it true. It ain't always true. And I'm just saying, people have to have an open mind, and you know, just on racism alone, if people were willing to give others a chance, I think there'd be less of it. I think it's like some of the comments I see in your posts. The minute you post it, oh, right away, the racist white America, racist this, Kentucky Derby was last week. How dare they put gray horse? It should have all been brown. It's silly, but it's one-sided. See everybody's side. It's like Kevin mentioned last week when we were talking about Lynch, because he said about the president. If he was supporting your candidate, you would have liked it. You know what I'm saying? So everybody's on one side and not seeing the other. I'm trying to see all sides. Like I told you from Jump Street, racism is not good. I don't support it. I am not a racist. I love my children. I love my family. I love all people as people. But some people are so stuck that we can never move forward with that mindset. You posted a thing the other day, and I loved it because it said, and I wrote that down. That's one of the things I wanted to talk about. Until you change your thinking, you will always recycle your experiences. Remember posting that?
Okay. Yes, absolutely. Right? So let me ask you a question.
And that's where a lot of people, like I said, a lot of people are stuck. And we can't get anywhere until they get unstuck. That's why I always take, I play the devil's advocate and I throw a little hit in there and say, well, what about this? And what about that? They were talking about the guy, I think it was in New Orleans, that got, they had that law that because he's a repeat offender, they put him in jail forever or whatever. And how many people thought that was wrong? But who knows if it's wrong? We don't make the laws. And what if he kept on the outside with that life of crime and it led to somebody else's death?
You're talking about a man getting a life prison sentence for stealing some hedge clippers. You think that was fair?
No, but was that all he did? Again, we're not there. We're not the judge and jury. And but that was according to from what I read.
But that was the post. That was the post. That was the post, Billy. That was the post. The post was the fact he was a repeat of
right. But the law. Did I read it wrong?
But there is one other side. But look, and I don't. My opinion. This guy, the guy,
time, right?
The guy should not be in jail for life. right? Like, there's no question. But
No,
I will also have
but
to
he
say,
should be somewhere where he's not going to be doing that shit.
The guy also knew when he had his second strike that the third one was going to cost him the rest of his life, right? Like, there's no that law didn't appear afterwards. I am sure at his conviction, he was told that you get. I'm sure at his second conviction, he was told, you're here again, you're going to get life. I'm sure when they let him out after the second conviction, he was told, it was parole officer, you're going to get life. And then he went out, he broke into somebody's, it was like their garage or something, and stole the thing, and he got caught. Is that the only crime he committed? Probably not. If that mindset is, that's costing you your life, and you're still going to do it, there's something a little wrong with that individual. Now, again, the man doesn't deserve life. But let's not forget the other half of that. That, like, he knew when he walked in there stealing something, he was risking doing life.
Right, but what does
do I believe in 3 strikes out? No, I don't believe in 3 strikes you're out for nonviolence. You commit 3 violent crimes, yeah, I'm going to send you away forever.
So
right, it was his 5th offense. If I read it right, it was his 5th arrest. But maybe he should be in some kind of.
So Billy, let me ask you a question.
Maybe you should have enough time to think about it at least, right?
Yeah.
How much time should he get?
I listen. I'm not judging jury on a repeat offender. Do I think he deserved life? No. For a hedge clipper, which is not a violent crime, he didn't beat anybody up. He didn't steal it. He stole a utensil. So what's the difference between a hedge clipper and some M&Ms?
Because he went into a property to take it.
So what do you do with a guy like that?
He didn't take it from a store, right?
What do you do with a guy like that?
He broke in to steal stuff, and that's what he wanted to take.
But Bill, I never said he wasn't deserving of time. What I said is he wasn't deserving of life. That's what I said.
And they gave him life? I don't think he deserves life either, but
okay.
He's got to. Something's got to. All I said was, and my comments were.
I have a friend of mine coming in right now, ladies and gentlemen. I have somebody that stepped up to the plate that wants to come to Real Talk Chronicles. I thank you, sister. It's been a minute to see you. How are you doing?
Hey, see, listen. I'm too heated to get myself together. I'm on camera looking a fool because this is crazy talk.
Let me tell you, you're still looking good. You're still looking all right to me.
Happy birthday, Gay.
Happy birthday, Gay. Everybody give Gay a happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
So Gay, let's get right into it. This is Real Talk Chronicles, everybody. I'm Bill Forster. My lovely wife, Malika Forster, is the host. My partner in crime on these segments is Kevin Branzetti. I have Bill here, and I have Gay here. Thank you for chiming in. I think some other people are trying to chime in, and we sent them the link, or we're waiting for them to come in because their opinions are very important. This is Real Talk Chronicles. This is what we do. Every week we are here. YouTube, watch us. So, Gay, please, you've been listening. You can give your opinions on Breonna Taylor. We're going to listen. You can rebuttal anything that you heard. You can talk about Blake. You can talk about George Floyd. You can start anywhere you want to. Go ahead, and we'll listen for you.
I came in here because I got something to say. Okay. Okay. I wanna. First of all, Bill, when you read my comment, Kevin didn't understand what I was saying. Kevin, what I was saying is, it's kind of dawned on me by talking to some of my white friends, I have a lot of white friends, that they feel like this stuff that's going on right now is media driven. They don't believe that Black people, everyday Black people, are suffering from systemic racism and police brutality. They think, oh, if you just turn the news off, then this problem will go away. They really think that. They don't realize that if you stop and talk to Black people that you know, I'd have to say every single one can give you an example of when they personally were in a situation with the police that got escalated, or they know someone, their mother, their brother, their cousin, their sister, who has had an escalating incident with the police. So it is not the media ginning Black people up. It's the fact that it's actually happening, and the problem is white people. It doesn't happen to you, so you don't really believe it happens to us. But now there's video, and people are showing that this happens to us all the time. I mean, one recent experience. My friends, my very dear friends, Rodney and his wife. Rodney is a top executive at a pharmaceutical company, and they're very well off and very successful. And he has a gorgeous home in the suburbs of Philly, outside of Philly. They actually lived internationally in London, South Africa for years, and they recently came back home. It was last year. Driving home, Rodney, his wife, daughter, in the car, were followed by a police officer to their own driveway, and the officer didn't believe they lived there, escalated the situation where they had Rodney out of the car, handcuffed, and guns drawn in his own driveway. He's a respected, accomplished, nerd-looking Black man, glasses like mine, meaning he's not some hip-hop wearing thug guy you think might be dealing drugs. He got followed because he was in a wealthy neighborhood. This happens. I was arrested, and the situation got ginned up. Me. And I'm in court now, taking the people to court for being arrested. This stuff happens to all of us. It is not media stories. That's what pisses us off so much. You white people think, oh, it's just the media making this up and they're so upset. Why are they so upset? Because it's happening to us. Because when I walk out the door and a police cop is following me, I don't know what's going to happen. Because a simple traffic stop can turn into me being dead. Kevin.
I'm gonna let everybody chime in. I'm gonna let Billy. I'm gonna let Kevin. Kevin, you go first. You can comment, and Bill, you can comment after your opinions and take on what she just said. What's your thoughts on that?
It's gay. Is that how it's pronounced?
Yes.
Yes, it's
yeah,
gay.
Okay, all right, thank you.
Gay.
All right. So, gay. First of pleasure to meet you. I hear what you're saying, and I want to go through a bunch of the things with it. Statistically, what you're talking about, you're afraid because a cop is near you that you have a risk of death. It's just statistically, you got a same shot at get hit by lightning. I'm sorry, the numbers just aren't there for death, right? That's just not reality, and I know the numbers, and it seems that way and it feels that way. And that's the part that people like myself push, that the media is pushing. And that's why I push the amount of white guys who are shot and killed by cops.
The media is not pushing that.
What?
The media is not pushing that. The media is not pushing that. What happened to me?
Statistically, you're wrong.
What happened to me? Listen to me, because this is what
I'm hearing you.
You don't get. No, you're not hearing me because you don't get it. What I'm telling you is what happened to me, simple traffic stop. Next thing I know, there was 7 police cars around me. And it was a Black officer and a white officer. And the Black officer was, at least he was normal with me. Because I've only gotten parking tickets in New York. Nothing ever in my life. It was for tickets that I had paid, but they didn't pull the warrant when they should have. And someone like me should have been able to go home. I was 10 minutes from my house. But the white cop starts, I'm scared because I've never been in a situation where I've been stopped or arrested. And he could tell how afraid I was. And the white cops and the guy, the black, I'm like, what do you mean arrested? Like, I can't be arrested. What are you talking about? Like, why would I get arrested? I've never been anywhere near any kind of crime. And I'm freaking out. It's late night. I'm by myself and I'm freaking out. And the white cop starts with, if he doesn't have to explain anything to you, and if you don't turn around right now, you're going to get down for a resisting arrest. He's yelling at me.
Can I ask what were you being arrested for? What was the charge?
Excuse me?
What was the charge they were arresting you for?
I had a ticket that I paid. But the person
there was a warrant?
didn't pull the warrant. And I'm actually suing them for this.
So, okay, so they were taking you in for a warrant. I got it. Okay.
Right. But I'm freaking out. I'm a woman. I'm by myself. I've never been in a situation. I am not a criminal. I don't have anything about me that says she probably is a criminal. And the white cop starts chiming in, escalating the situation, saying, if you don't turn around right now and shut up, I'm going to get you for resisting arrest. He used the words resisting arrest. Why did he do that to me? When I was just asking a question. I wasn't moving. I wasn't screaming. I wasn't refusing. I was scared because it was dark. I've never been in that situation before. He escalated that situation on purpose. And what if I had freaked out? I might have been on the ground and he might have been on my goddamn neck for 9 minutes. And that is the reality of every Black person that gets stopped for something minor, a traffic incident. It could get escalated in 2 seconds to something that now your friend Billy will be saying, well, I don't know why he was on her neck for 9 minutes. I didn't see it. I wasn't there. Billy be talking about why? I don't know. Because I'm Black.
I don't mean to laugh, but I have to laugh.
I'm just saying, like, we're pissed off because a cop can get away with, and white people like Billy will try to figure out why he was justified for ginning up a situation when I should have been able to go home. And the thing is, it happens all the time. Me going to an Ivy League school, me being a professional, me being a woman, me being by myself, none of that protects me when a cop stops me. It could go from nothing to I'm dead. And that is the truth. And I don't give a shit about your statistics. Because another problem I have with your statistics, Kevin, is, and I'm sorry, cops fucking lie. They make up reports, they change reports. In the reporting, they make it so it doesn't come out to be what it is. And they're not keeping these records. They're not going to keep those kind of records. No way. I'm not saying all cops, but I'm saying if you have problematic cops, supervisors know, oh, let's just change it to this or make it look good. So you can't rely on those statistics. But Billy, this is directed to you. This is not a media problem. This is a racism problem. This is a quality of life problem for Black people in this country. The media is not making this up. If you say you have half Black children, I'm assuming that means you must have Black people in your life. What you need to do is speak to them directly and ask them, has the situation been escalated by a police officer? How do they feel about being stopped? Because actual guilt does not come into play when you're a Black person. It depends on what this officer wants to do, so they know they can get away with it. And that's the thing that's frustrating for Black people right now is I realize my white friends, this is a topic like taxes. Oh, Republican, Democrat. It's not Republican, Democrat.
Right.
It's not Republican, Democrat. It's a matter of I'm an American. I'm supposed to have the right. I'm supposed to be innocent until proven guilty. The police are supposed to protect even me, and that's not happening. That's what the issue is.
That's awesome. Listen, I think that's awesome. I appreciate everything you want to say. I'm going to let Kevin and Billy respond. I have my boy Max Payne just came in and chimed in with us. It's good to see you, brother. Former narcotics dude. But yo, I appreciate you so much, sister, for spewing your feelings and expressing yourself. Kev, you can go, and then Billy can go. I'll let her rebuttal, and then I'll bring Max in.
Sure.
So go ahead.
So, Gay, I wasn't, because you had talked about a lot of stuff originally. So I was replying to the fact that you were saying that a cop near you fear for your life. That's what I was replying to. But we'll go into your story of what happened to you. All right. Look, I hope you win money, right? Like, if somebody put you a warrant in the system for you and it was undeserved, there's no way in hell you deserve to ever be arrested for that. And I hope that works out for you. And, you know, the person that did that and did their job improperly probably should lose their job, right? I got no qualm with that. I don't know why one cop was, you know, and how nasty that cop was. I wasn't there. It's hard to say.
It's surprising. You weren't there. You don't know.
But how you're asking? Look,
I just told you.
But we can let me finish for a second.
Would you need that here?
All right, Gay, let him finish. Let me hear his answer.
Gay,
let me hear his answer.
Gay,
Let's hear his answer.
Hold
on, Gay.
I am gonna let him finish, but I'm gonna say this because this is the pushback that you don't get. I mean, I will. You don't need to have like 100% proof and have been there to see. Because if it was your daughter who came home and told you,
let me finish first.
You would be out down to that to the police precinct immediately, and you wouldn't want to hear, "I wasn't there." That's bullshit. Stop saying I wasn't there.
All right.
Okay.
May I please?
Hold on, Kev. Hold on, Kev. Let me just interject. Let me bring it back down. That is an excellent point that you just said. And Kevin, I want you to answer this question. I want you to finish what you have to say. And Gay, please give him a chance to respond. But Kev, that's a good point that she said.
Yeah, I'm not.
No, I'm not. I didn't say, Kev. I didn't say you disagreed with her. I'm just saying this is open dialogue. This is Real Talk Chronicles, everybody. This is what it is. A lot of times people have to understand that people have suppressed a lot of feelings, and this is the platform that we can get it all out. So please, everybody, don't take it personal unless it's directed at you personally, and it's all right because this is what it is. Because this is a dialogue that we're not having over this world. Let me tell you something. This is Real Talk Chronicles. There's a time when you see people of all different colors and ethnicities coming together and talking about it. So, Kevin, the one thing that she did say, I'm gonna let you answer, but she did say that's so right, is that one time, if your daughter came home and said, "Daddy, this would happen."
The kid, of course you are. There's no question.
So go ahead.
What I'm trying to get out, Gay, is why I'm saying I wasn't there. I can't say it. I can't see anything. You were there, and you've said that it was dark. You were scared. You were getting upset. And I know any person who's in that scenario, you're going to misread and represent things. It's not intentional. And don't take that the wrong way. Please don't. Any fight, if me and Bill start screaming at each other, we're going to lose contacts with each other. It's just the way it goes. That's why I'm saying I'd like to understand more about what he was doing. How long did this take? Did this go on? I've been in these scenarios where I'm trying to arrest somebody and they want to talk. And I'm like, there's a certain point where talk's over and the cuffs are going on. Like, you had a warrant, unjustified, but as the cop in the street, I don't know that's unjustified. You're getting cuffed. That's going to happen, whether you agree or disagree. And and every one of us as cops has a certain amount. We'll let a little venting go. Sometimes we'll let a little conversation go. We'll try to make things a little easier. I don't know how far it went until the cop was just like, "Enough. I'm putting this on you. It's done." Like, I don't know that. Or he was an asshole. That's what I'm saying. I can't answer that. See, I can only answer from my perspective, right? I can only answer from what I've seen as a cop and what I've done and what I've seen Billy do and others who work with me. All right. And I would like to say we would have talked you into the car.
Yeah.
Well, that's what the black cop was doing. The black cop was calm. He was like, it's gonna be all right. We're gonna go downtown. You can ask questions there. It's gonna be all right. He's calming the whole situation down, and I'm not happy about it. But he's talking to me, and then white cop comes over here and starts yelling at me. He didn't talk. He starts yelling, and he's telling me he used resisting arrest. That was a key word for me that made me fear for my life at that moment in time. I was scared to death, talking about resisting arrest when I was standing there.
And you know what's so funny? Let me just tell you, and I say this a lot of times, we're not afforded the longitude and latitude of a lot of other people, Kevin or Billy or Max. Max knows this. You know what I'm saying? And I think from a person of color, a lot of times people don't understand the frustration that we receive with that, because the bottom line is all we want to be able to say is that we want to articulate it. Kevin, you said it very well, though. If the cuffs are going on, they're going on. When they go on is how we handle the business. But the thing is, you want to de-escalate the situation. Now, if she was going to get cuffed, she was going to get cuffed anyway, because it's a warrant, it's a must arrest situation. If she has a warrant, it's popped, right? With that being said, the fact of it is, the officer didn't have to talk to her any kind of way. And that's what we're talking about, the level of respect giving to women of color or men of color that are
just
not
people.
afforded,
Yeah,
not afforded to our white friends. And that's an excellent point. I'm gonna let Billy chime in, and I'm gonna bring Max in. Stay with me, sister. Go ahead, Billy. What's your take on what she was saying?
Hey, did you say what's that channel from your phone router?
You wait to talk to your family now is the time to talk.
Sorry.
Come on, Billy.
My internet is getting crazy. I'm trying to make sure I don't lose it. So, two things. One, you touched on this last week, Billy, when you were talking about traffic stops. So I spoke to some police officer friends of mine, and they said that generally 99.9% of the stops go a certain way. And no matter how you approach it, you get kickback from people of color. Again, don't jump me. I'm just a messenger. All right, because you said that cops see you a certain way when they pull you over. They're seeing you as a black person, not a regular person, right?
Absolutely.
So what I was told is that there's always some kind of kickback. Well, what did I do? If it's a white person, let me see your license and registration. They just give it to them, and they wait for whatever they're getting.
Listen, I'm gonna interject right now. That's not true. Let me tell you something. People can I'm unmute you back.
Right?
I'm coming facts now. I'm coming facts. Hold on, Billy. I'm gonna come facts with you, because I've done wait a minute. You made a statement and you said that's what your friend said. I don't care what your friend said. I'm telling you what actually happened when I've done it. When I have been pulled over, I understand what I need to do. But see, the bottom line is I have the trump card. When I pull a white person over, as much as I pulled over a black person, the common denominator is, officer, what did I do? Because either they knowingly or unknowingly don't know what they did. Some people you're gonna ask. Where I'm telling you, the problem is where for black people and Latin people is that when we ask a question, it becomes problematic to a white officer. That's where the problem occurs. Now, I'm not saying it happens with Kevin. No, hold on. I'm not saying it happens with Kevin, but I'm telling you, there are white officers out there that when people of color ask them a question, they feel that that's a challenging situation. And because of their mentality is, how dare you question me? Because I'm a police officer. You don't question me. So go ahead.
And I was leading to that too when I was telling you last week that it's a stereotype, right? Because people think a certain way and they become jaded, which is wrong, which is why we talked about the psych ballot once before. And I think that people need to be retrained periodically. And when you're out in the field as a cop,
I want you to say that point. I'm gonna let you finish. But can you, at your age, do you think you could be retrained?
Become desensitized.
Can you think you be retrained? You have a thought process right now that people out here feel totally is off to the left. And do you think anybody here can be retrained? We can do what we want to do to keep our profession, but we can't be trained. If your mentality is, and I'm just going to use the word right, then there's nothing anybody can say that's going to change you. You're going to work within the confines of of your job to make sure that you're right. So go ahead.
That's unfortunate. If there's, there are people like that, but I think from the starting point, and you're talking about going to stay that way. But if there were rules in the PD that every couple of years things were readdressed and things were talked about, people might act differently. Maybe I'm wrong. But maybe if they were taught, maybe if they were taught again and again, and this is how we do it. We got shit at my job. There's all kinds of protocols and stipulations, and that's part of my job is to make sure they follow all of our guidelines. Excuse me. Otherwise, they wouldn't need me. But it has to be, beat in over and over. If you train a guy in the academy and then you throw him out there, 10 years later, he probably is a jerk because he's seen so much crap that now he's crap. It's inbred. The friends I spoke to, one in particular, I remember him even as a civilian. We go to Home Depot and he's parking in the ass end of the lot to make sure no other cars are near his, and he's looking around, and everybody was a suspect. So it's just like we talked about the racism. It's taught, it's learned, and until people start acting different and seeing things different, I got a story, and this is for gay, because people talk about people of color and how they're treated. A couple of years ago, it's a longer while ago. My son, his mother is Puerto Rican, but she's the same color as you. We went to the St. Patrick's Day parade on Fifth Avenue, and we're in one of the blocks that police have now closed because too many people. No, excuse me, it was the Puerto Rican Day parade. Let me take that back. It was the Puerto Rican Day parade. Now she's Puerto Rican, so we went. She's wearing a brown T-shirt and khaki shorts, and she got to go to the bathroom. So she steps out of the block. 45 minutes later, the cell phone's not working. I can't find her. I'm with her mother, who's darker than her, and my baby in the carriage. He's 12 now. We go down to the corner, and the police got her on the corner. They won't let her back in the block. And I'm like, I'm all up on the lieutenant. What's going on? What are you doing? Oh, well, we were told that,
it's going to be blackened,
not to let any people in and this and that. So to the officer. And I said, are you looking at her? She's not pulling a cooler full of beer. She don't got the flag on her back. Her child and me and her mother are standing there waiting. It's almost an hour now. And then, we're doing what we're told. We were told not to let. So I go to the lieutenant. I say, what's the deal? Don't you see what's going on here? And he's like, oh, well, they're just doing what they were told. So I said, is it training to be able to differentiate? Cops, some cops probably don't. And some cops have been cops too long and they don't know how to act. But it's never going to change if we keep acting how we're all acting.
Hold on, Max. I'm going to bring Max in. Kevin, I know you might have some stuff you wanted to finish saying. I apologize for cutting you off. Do you remember anything that you wanted to say? I apologize. You have a
no. I would say this. One of the things the police department has to do better. It's not training. You can't train somebody after 10 years, Bill. And I agree with you. You can't do that. But we can do more internal sting operations to make sure people are on point.
Right.
That's what needs to be done more. We need to be. You'd have to test guys. I don't like when cops talk nasty, shit can jobs. Don't do that. I don't like any of it. All right. And I got no time, no place for it. I didn't like it as a boss. I didn't do it as a cop myself. I would never put up with it. I don't think we do enough internally as police departments to do stings on cops like that. And that's how you stop them, right? Yeah, I can't change somebody's mental attitude, right? If they're a piece of garbage, they're a piece of garbage. But I can make them think twice and go, you know what, if I act this way and this is an IAB sting, I'm going to get I'm going to lose, a lot for it. Keep them on their toes.
I would say the public doesn't believe that. The public has a perception that cops are there to protect cops, and that when somebody is doing something wrong, when they've overstepped, that you're not going to do anything, and that's why it continues. This blue wall, right? You're not going to do anything. I mean, and you know what? In today's world, I look at even cop TV shows a little bit more differently. Where the cops are saying, in the TV show, in order to make it stick, we're going to need to do this, we're going to need to do that. And then you're like, motherfuckers do that all the time. They lie.
I can't answer you with a TV show. But
No,
the thing is, with the cops in the blue wall, the majority of internal affairs complaints come from cops.
Yeah, hold on, everybody. Hold on, everybody. I want to bring Max in.
Yeah.
Hold on, I want to bring Max in. Max, it's good to see you, brother. I haven't seen you in a long time. I appreciate you. So go ahead. I want you to chime in. I'm gonna let you, and I'm gonna let everybody come back in. I just got to give everybody their ample time. This is Real Talk Chronicles. People out there, like it, share it, pass it on. Let people know this is Real Talk Chronicles. This is what we do. We speak about it. This is the only show that you're gonna get this diversity and discussion that people may not like to hear, but you hear the ideology of some and others. Max, go ahead, brother. How are you, man?
All right,
jump in and grab a topic and pick up on it, man. Let's go.
Yes, sir. Listen, brother, this is great.
Thank you.
You Real Talk Chronicles should be taking over CNN.
Thank you. I appreciate
you
that.
put that out there. So listen,
that.
I'm gonna piss a lot of your people off. The black people, my people, and the white people are both gonna be pissed off at me because I'm gonna keep it quite real.
Go ahead.
All right. I'm a veteran, a police veteran. All right. I'm still currently a deputy sheriff in Georgia, or a supervisor at this point, where I see a lot of different things. All right. Okay. So when I was NYPD, when I was LAPD and NYPD, I seen the discrimination from my counterparts. So, man, when you talk about the blue wall is dead. The blue wall been dead when they started letting people of different colors on there, okay? That died. There are a lot of good white cops. There are a lot of good Hispanic cops, black cops, Asian cops. It comes with a variety of people. We hire from the same pool as McDonald's, all right? So you don't know what you're going to get. 10 years from now, that person was who he was when he got on the job and was able to make it through the preliminary. So that's who he is. You can't retrain somebody who already thinks that way. Now, on that other note, though, now you look at the majority of the complaints and what's going on, and I hate to say it because I love my counterparts, but it's the white cops. It's the white cops because some of them do not understand how to deal with people of color. And of course, people of color are rebelling and feeling targeted and stuff because we've been dealing with that. I dealt with it as a kid growing up in the confines of the 4-7. My father was a cop where when I would ride around the car with my friends, everything's in place. The cops, anti-crime, would follow us just because there was 4 black kids in the car. You know what? 10 years later, I'm working with those same cops. Now I'm the good guy. I'm working with those same cops in the 4-7. When I worked in the 5-0, one of the most racist precincts in the Bronx, and I will say it live, they treated me like crap. My counterparts that I graduated with were white. We were tight. We were brothers and sisters. I would walk in there, guess whose ID they would ask for? The desk sergeant would ask for my ID.
Yes.
He would ask for my ID, right? I'm walking in with my counterparts. He never asked him for their ID. He asked for my ID. Do I have somebody in my school? Was that? But look, yes, I do. I really do. But there has to come change, though. There has to come change. You cannot think that every cop is bad, no matter what color they are. Resisting and fighting is not acceptable. There is a way to fight. As I told you, I used to get stopped by those same cops. I never ended up in jail. Could it have happened? Yeah, because one of those cops was real racist. But you know, I knew how to play the game though, because my father taught me how to play the game and stuff. To live for this day, to fight another day. What did I do? I ended up working the 4-7 and stuff, becoming a detective there and stuff, where they had to acknowledge me. So you want to talk about making change? It's not standing outside saying, I know my rights when you don't really know your rights. It's about going in there and making a change, either joining or learning what the law is. Not what you think the law is, not what a TV program is, anything like that. As I said, I'm going to piss off both sides and stuff. So, therefore, what I'm trying to say to you, I dealt with my own, even out here in Georgia, I deal with my own, and I deal with the white counterparts. Now, I deal with the black counterparts. Most of the time, I don't have a problem with. But there are the few who think they are entitled to get what they're supposed to get because we have been victims. Don't let those people take away what is owed to us as far as people go. Those people have a hidden agenda like Antifa and all of them. They have a hidden negative agenda which take away from the real cause. When there's disjustice, then we deal with that injustice. We don't change it around and make it where everybody needs to pay. Everybody does not need to pay. You can't go out there and think you're gonna fight with every single cop and tell them that, yeah, well, I know the law. You ain't supposed to be doing this, so I'm gonna resist you. Hell no, you wouldn't do that in a street fight. If a dude had a gun and he said, give me your wallet and stuff, you know, you're gonna give up your wallet. Because he has a gun and you don't. So it's the same mentality when you go out there and you might think a cop is real racist or wrong and stuff. It's the same mentality. You dealing with a thug now. You better do exactly what you say, exactly what he tells you to do in order to save and fight for another day. If it comes down to where your life is on the line, that's when the fight is on. You ain't got no choice. You got to fight for your life. Now, to end off and stuff, now with my counterparts, I seen them where they made racist comments and where they made comments and jokes and stuff. Even with me in the car, we worked in Brooklyn and stuff during a riot and stuff. And one of the sergeants, I'm brand new on the job. He didn't know I had LA experience. Brand new on the job. He goes, "Oh, Potter, you know what a can gun is?" Go, what's a can gun? A Puerto Rican, African, a Mexican, Dominican. And guess what? He was married to a Dominican. So when you say I got black relatives, that don't mean nothing. That don't mean a doggone thing. Because this dude was married to a Dominican. And the first thing I said, you know what? I should tell your wife when I see her. Because he thought I was just a rookie and wasn't going to say nothing.
Right.
You know?
So
It's a big difference. It's on both parts.
Go ahead, Kev.
Just quickly, Max, you didn't piss me off at all.
Me neither. The only part that I would say is that you know, black people, it's been shown, can do exactly what they're told and still wind up, you know, the whole situation escalated and then in handcuffs and beat up. Did you see the video? It's a long time ago. Like you said, there's been a lot of videos. But did you see the video? It was in Texas of this cop that body slammed a young black girl in a bikini. It was a pool party. Picked her up and slammed her on the ground. She was 15. What can a 15-year-old be doing that
I saw that.
So I'm sorry. There's no script.
Hold on. I want Kevin to chime in. Hold on for a second.
Black people are protesting. If you had a script and we could follow the script and we knew we would be safe, we would do it. But we've seen time and time again that no matter what we do the right thing, we do whatever, it doesn't matter because the problem is not what we're doing. The problem is what's happening to us by people of power. That's the problem.
But that's not always the case, though. That's
not always the case. But what I'm saying
and you have to judge each situation individually. Like I said,
not always.
That. And
but
Kevin, I need to make this young lady understand from a law enforcement point of view stuff. That, as I was saying with the George Floyd situation, you have to deal with the facts. If you want a proper prosecution, you have to deal with the facts. You cannot deal with feelings. We all have feelings. We all feel certain things are wrong, but you have to go with the fact. Billy said a lot of stuff. There's some stuff I didn't like that Billy said, but there's other stuff that Billy said that I do like because it was factual. So you have to go with the facts.
Like what, Max?
All right.
Yeah.
So for the fact that you don't charge this man with I think he got what first degree murder or something like that, right? What was the charge?
It was second degree.
I thought it was second. I thought it was,
second?
yeah, I think they had raised it to second.
First degree is when if he knowingly.
Right.
I mean,
right.
yeah.
That's what I thought they had charged him with originally.
That it was. There's a lot of calls for that, but Max, I don't think they did. I think it was
degree. So Billy wasn't factual on that. That was second degree.
Oh, okay. So
I didn't say anything about the charge.
I
know.
I heard a lot of people saying that he should have got charged with first degree murder. And you know what though? My mother was arguing the same thing. I go through this with my mother too. You don't know the law. Don't try and charge that because you won't get a conviction on that. Where that cop was wrong at, we don't know how racist he was. I'm not running around saying that cop was racist. But what I do know is that he killed that man unjustly. That's what I do know. And so that's what I want a conviction on. I want a conviction on him murdering somebody unjustly. The reason being because he was supposed to be an experienced cop. As an experienced cop, you see someone peeing on the ground talking about, mama, I can't breathe. You know damn well they're going out of the picture. You get off of that.
So Max, let me ask you a question. With that being said, and this is the way I'm going to take a hold of this. Hold on. I'm going to take a hold of this. I'm going to call you out and I want you to talk because right now we all have feelings and emotions. Just unless you have something to say, raise your hand real quick while somebody's talking and I'll come to you. So Max, let me ask you a question. What do you think about the Blake situation?
The Blake situation, just recently, right?
around the car.
Oh, okay. That was in Atlanta.
It doesn't make a difference.
Wisconsin.
I got a shot in the back.
Parallel.
I got a kid in the hospital, so I've been kind of out of the loop.
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't know that. Okay, yeah.
So what's the Blake situation?
Well, Blake's situation, he got shot 7 times in the back. He was on one side of the Volvo, and he came around to the other side of the Volvo. And then when he opened up the car door, they shot him in the back.
I remember that. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Someone said it earlier. I believe it was Kevin. It was said earlier. He should have never got there. All right. That's the cop's fault. It's the cop's fault because they're the ones that's the professionals. Put your guns away, tackle that person, get them on the ground, fight them, whatever you got to do. Keep them from going to the car. I tell rookies out here right now, I tell my cops, my deputies out here now, you don't let them go back in the house. You don't let them go to the car. You're the professional. You're the one that's in charge. You're not just protecting your life, you're protecting their life. Because if they get something out of the house, then you're forced to use deadly force. That's not something we want to do. So you control the situation. But that also goes for the civilian also. You have to listen to that police officer or that deputy or whatever. You have to listen to them. They don't know what you're going in that car for.
But Max, let me interject. And we've all been in the belly of the beast. You know that. You know I was good at what I did.
Right. Yes.
I say all that to say that, listen, how many times do we say put your hands behind your back? And the person, like Kay was saying, she was trying to explain herself. He took it to another level. But we dealing with guns and drugs and all kind of stuff. We dealing with violent felonies. Kevin knows that. You know that.
Right.
Listen, what violent felony person you say put your hand behind your back? He said, okay, no problem. Listen, it's always a confrontation.
Right.
So if he just gave them hands, just like the man in Georgia that got shot in his back with the taser, he was running. We all know the taser's distance is minuscule. So now we're dealing with the psychological, the culpable mental state. And you two know what I mean when I say the culpable mental state, right? The ego is involved now. He gave them hands. What is being exposed out right here now, a lot now, is that cops don't have these, right? And they get abused. And now the ego, because let me tell you something, I say this all the time. There are a lot of officers out there, and this is no disrespect to all officers, but there's disrespect to some. There are a lot of officers out there right now that are only tough as the hours that they wear that uniform.
That's right.
And that's real talk. That's real talk.
Amen to that.
That's real talk.
And Bill, you and I both know. We both been in the martial arts and stuff. Brother, I was a black belt at 18 years old. Yep. I went into the Navy, started competing, in the World Cup. All right, I wouldn't have took this job if I couldn't defend myself, because my intention isn't to shoot everybody. That's the last thing. And I had one shootout, and I never want to be another one ever again.
And that goes to my point with Kevin. Let me tell you something. Kevin and I, we came on around the same time, 6 months apart, and we were taught, don't bring your gun out unless you have a reason to use it.
Right.
I don't know what these officers are learning today. I don't know why they would see a sister, a woman that they are. How tall are you, guys?
5'3".
5'3". You're not intimidating me. You're not kicking my ass. So why would I have to yell at you?
I'm going to challenge you there. I don't think she might be able to take you.
No.
The only woman that's going to take me, there's only two women that's going to take me. One is not here anymore, and the other one is right behind me. Otherwise than that, ain't nobody
Hey, Kev, I know you seen Bill in action. I seen the dude in action.
He ain't gonna swing back though. She's just gonna beat on him. He ain't doing anything.
He ain't letting nobody beat on him.
So listen, I've been looking at the comments. There's something that we're gonna bring, and I don't know, Gay, if you know about this, but everybody else, Max knows about Bill Lynch. Kev knows about, Pat Lynch, and Billy knows. I hope you know about this. What do you think about the union? And Gay, I'm gonna ask you first. What do you think about the union president of New York City endorsing the president of the United States, and stepping all out of bounds? And you know, that's like funny because I personally feel that he needs to stay in his lane.
Yep.
You know, necessary evil. He is what you want when you're in trouble, but he does nothing for the people of the city. He does, and he's only doing it for the union. And what it is, that's why there's so much diversity and division, because he is the worst and trying to stifle any tension. So what's your opinion? I'm going to you, and then I'm going to Billy, and then go to Kevin, and I'll go to Max.
I don't know a lot of details, right? I'm not a cop. I don't know details about the union. So what I'm saying, I will, is purely opinion. So if either any of you have something to say about the union, how it works, I will definitely bow down because I have no idea. This is just opinion. But my opinion is that if you're a police officer today and when you say you don't think there's systemic racism in policing, we can't take you seriously. And the problem with the response of police all the time is they always want to say, oh, it's just a few bad ones and it's up, and they don't admit to the problem. And if you don't admit to the problem, then you're never going to fix it. And that's why people have lack of confidence in the police when it comes to police brutality. So the New York City police union guy endorsing Donald Trump is, I would say, Bill, a lot of ego. Like you said, this white cop doesn't want to hear anything from black people. He thinks that you should shut up and do whatever we say. And there's no problem here. When there's a freaking humongous problem here. And by endorsing Donald Trump, you're endorsing a stance that says you don't matter and we're not going to listen to you. And we want a president that's not going to make us listen to you. And we don't care if we're enforcing the law correctly. We don't care if you have problems. We don't care that we could actually try and do things to make things better. We're not going to do it. That's what that says.
Thank you. Yeah, I thank you. I'm going to move on. Billy, what's your take? And you know what's so funny? We're going to come back to that. Billy, what's your take on you have a union at your job. What's your take on the union president if he came out and would endorse the president? How would you feel about that? What's your take on the union?
It's not a. Did I lose it?
Billy, you there?
Hold on. I think it's not his place.
Okay.
I don't think. Yeah, can you hear me?
Yeah, we got you. Go ahead.
Hello.
We got you,
Gotcha.
Billy. We got you. We got you.
We can hear you.
Can you hear me?
Just keep
We
talking.
can hear
Keep
you.
talking. We got you. We got you.
Can you hear?
We're probably
Oh.
frozen on his screen.
Yeah.
His
Okay, because
his thing
nobody
is
answered.
so.
We're giving you thumbs up,
No,
brother.
I can hear you. No, you're good. I can hear you.
Okay,
all right.
then go.
Well, all right, we're back. We're back. I think he's out of line. I think it's presidential. It's the whole country. This is New York City. If it were the mayor, maybe he's got a place to be, or somebody's got somebody to say. It's New York City, but the president of the whole country. What does the New York City Police Department union representative have to do with that? So
Absolutely.
I think he's out of line for speaking out at all. Like Kevin said last week, for representing anyone, not whether it's Trump, but for speaking up about any of it.
Kev,
It's not his ring.
All right, Max, I'm gonna let you go because Kev deserves more words for a lot of things. So Max, go ahead, and then go ahead, Kev.
Okay. I'm gonna try and make it short.
Yes.
All right. So I understand why he did it. He's looking for support for NYPD. He's looking out for the troops. For him to actually do it, I don't agree with, because of the fact that it's a political thing. What do we always say as cops? Politics and police work don't mix. He should have stayed from out of that. And so, but he's looking for support for the cops on the street now at this point. So I wouldn't say I'm mad at. Was it a bad move? Yes, I think it was a bad move, but I understand why he did it. And I gotta tell you, I mean, Trump is a cop supporter. He is a cop supporter. I dealt with him. I worked his building. I worked his building and everything. And he loves cops. No matter what color you are, he loves cops. But his problem is, though, he will not acknowledge the racism in this country.
Absolutely.
Which will stop a lot of stuff if he do that. If he acknowledged that, all these militias, all this other garbage would stop. But every single time there's a racial incident, you don't hear nothing from him. I love the support of the cops because sometimes we do need that support. Because a lot of people have to understand we are human beings too. And as I said, every cop is not a bad cop. Now, when I deal with people on the street, the first thing I hear, don't touch me, you're going to kill me. Dude, what? Last week I bought you lunch. Now you're talking about this week I'm going to kill you because you've been watching the news. And I get that from my own people. So that's all across the board. I don't mean to go off topic, but that's
no, but it's all right because you can stay on topic and I can come back rewind with that. The bottom line is this is a job that you chose though. Right. Nobody forced you to take it. So just like working in Harlem, I've been in the belly of the beast in Harlem and in the Bronx, and I'll tell you a story. There was a time in Harlem, I'll never forget, in the midst of Harlem, cops there, white cops there. I'm the only black cop there at that time I was working, or the only one that responded along with, I guess, whatever it was, assault or anything. Mm-hmm. So the first thing is, some brothers on the corner want to start shouting about calling me Tom, sell out, this and that and everything. So my man, shout out to my childhood friend, Eddie Warren. He said, yo, B, he said, yo, don't let it catch your feelings. Don't let it catch your feelings. And I was like, because, I wanted to react to that, right?
Right, of course.
Now, I'm going to tell you another story. My man, Jumbo, he just beat COVID. So shout out to Jumbo.
Yes.
We was in the Bronx one time. I'm telling you a quick story how I got down. And it was a drug bust. Caught the guy. He sold to undercover. We move in on him. He fights. Everybody's grabbing and fighting him. Boom, I come and give him a move. I give him a shot to the groin. Subdue him, right? They put cuffs on him. His people out there that's out there with him, one cat starts berating me. Starts, calling me Tom, Dick, Harry, all out my name in front of the white officers. He caught me. He caught my vein. He caught my emotions, right? Now, here's the bill that and Kev knows, right? I tell the field team, I said, yo, check this out. Everybody break out. This is a true story. So they're like, what? I said, yo, break out. I got this. Now this is where I take this to my level, right?
Right.
So now him and his crew, 183rd Crescent, they looking at it like, what? I said, yo, get out of here. Everybody's like, yo, B. I said, listen, I'm gonna do what I do. Y'all go ahead. This is above police work now. This is far beyond that.
That's right.
I got it. So my man Jumbo says, I'm gonna stay with you. Everybody leaves. Now the guys that's woofing me and his boys are looking at me, and we're looking at the cops drive off, just like a movie. We watching somebody, like a girl walking down the street. We watching them go, right? After they leave, I turn back to Money and I say, yo, listen, my man. I said, your mouth game was crazy. I want to see if your hand game is good as your mouth game, right?
Yeah. That's the bill I know.
I said, because you called me all out my name in front of the white boys. And I said this. You call me Tom, Dick, Harry, everything. You ain't disrespect any of them cats. You came for the dude. So now you got him. Now I'm going to show you how official I am. I said, your mouth was crazy, reckless. I want to see if your hand game is just as reckless as your mouth game.
Right.
Yo, dude realized that I was a different animal. And him and his man was like, yo, officer, we apologize. You're not supposed to let us get you out of your character, right? I said, yo, you got to understand, I'm a black man from the hood, right? That has a skill set. This is Kevin, you know, I don't want to do the paperwork, but tactically, this is what I did. Right. Kevin, you know that, you know what I'm saying? Max, yep. I was second to none. Right. Paperwork wise, I always laugh. Our model used to always say, he says, yo, I want you going through a door with me, but I don't want you touching my paperwork. Right. And I respect that. So I say all that to say that there are not too many of us left, right? The dinosaurs that are there like us are inside. I'm saying what happened to her is unacceptable. But what I'm saying that is that there isn't any equality. See, and it goes back to upbringing, and it goes back to a certain mentality. Mm-hmm. Because the bottom line is, I agree. I think the three of us here, if we would have pulled her over and we would have ran her name and she would have popped a warrant, we would have tried everything in our power to get her in that car without hearing her mouth. And even if we heard her mouth, we would have said, listen, you're going to jail tonight because there isn't anything I can do. Right. But I'm not trying to disrespect you, sister. Right. You understand what I'm saying? Yep. And Kev may have not said sister, but Kev would have said miss. There isn't anything I can do. Now, what we're trying to find out is that why isn't that out here right now? You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. And this is what she's talking about, and so many other people of color are talking about. Where is that? That is gone, and we all have our different ideologies on that, and that's the problem. Go ahead.
I want to just say that in the situation, I was very respectful and very low key. I wasn't belligerent or any of that because that's not, I was very, there was no reason for him to escalate that situation, put it that way. I was more, the most I was going to do is probably start a tear roll down my cheek. That's the most that was going to happen. I was not going to be yelling and all that. I don't need to do that. So he really had no reason to escalate that situation. And it made me fear for my life. And it was just a horrible experience. And the point that I was trying to make is white people think Black people don't have this experience. They think that we're just making it up, that the media is making people.
Not all white people. Not all white people, but yeah.
Thanks, Max. I mean, I'm talking about what Billy is talking about. And I'm actually responding to my comment when Kevin asked the question, why, like, what does she mean by that? What I mean is white people have a liberty of this being a topic for them. Like, they can turn the channel and it may not ever affect you. But for people of color in this country, It is not a politics thing. It is not a media-driven thing. The only thing about the media is that white people now get to see how we live and what's been going on forever.
Yeah. Two things. One, I want to go back to first the question we were on, which
like Max said, though, it's not.
But I want to say,
Really, it's definitely you, though.
What about the ones that it does affect?
Give me a second, Billy.
All right, hold on. Kevin has the form, and then I'll let y'all chime in.
But the quick thing with Pat Lynch, I don't think any union leaders should be. I don't like when they endorse anybody, right? I don't like it. I never did, never will. They don't speak for all the rank and file. I don't care. Right. Again, what union it is. Right. But if you're upset at this, be upset at when a union leader then picks a president you like. You have to be consistent. That's my ask.
Politics shouldn't play a part in the union.
That's it. So, but the thing. So, where I have trouble at times, right? I worked with Billy. I worked with a lot of people. I didn't do these things or see these things or work with people who did these things. So right. I have my knowledge base, right? And I worked in Harlem. I spent most of my career, there.
2826, exactly. Yeah.
I worked narcotics there. I worked in the squad there, and I worked on the street there. So I didn't see cops treat people that way. I didn't see cops sit on somebody's neck. I didn't see cops hit somebody cuffed. I didn't see any of this. And I was out there on the street. I didn't hide from anything, right? So that's, part of the thing, we all have our prejudices, our things, our viewpoints, that's mine. Mm-hmm. So I have such a hard time grasping that, there is so many cops out there doing this when I didn't see it day in and day out. And I got people who sit here and will vouch for me, and I was not part of it. So that's where it's very hard for me to comprehend.
Well,
I'm going to come to you, Billy. I just want to read a comment. Hold on. I just want to read a comment from my man Lewis. He said that kind of falls in the line of all black people being aggressive or dangerous or whatever negative narrative that goes with that. People are feeling that way about Leos recently while on the security detail. I get accused of profiling a person because I advised him he wasn't permitted to park on the premises. A lot of things. I want to shout out everybody out here that's chimed in tonight and that's listening right now. This is Real Talk Chronicles. I ask you all to like it, share it, subscribe to YouTube Real Talk Chronicles, please, and let everybody know what you're getting and what you're in for. I appreciate you all right now for being here, and I thank you. Billy, you haven't talked in a while. I want to get some insight on what you're feeling and what you're thinking, and then I have a question that we're going to close. I'm going to give everybody their closing comments because I've definitely gone past the hours. But I love it. And everybody out here, Kevin, what do I do all the time? How many times do I ask people, do you want to be a part of this, right?
Step
Anytime.
up.
Let me tell you something. White, black, Spanish, whoever, you can bring your dog, you can bring your cat. I don't care. Listen, if they got something to say, they can say it. So, Billy, I want you to chime in what you're going to say. And then after that, then I'm going to close out and I'm going to let Max, Guy, and Kev, and then I'll close out. Malika and I close out. I have a closing statement I want to ask. So go ahead, Billy. What's your feelings on things that we've been talking about?
So when I got my internet crapped out when we were talking about Lynch, and so I think you all heard me say that I don't think I agree with Kevin. It's to be involved in that. I want to say thank you to Max. Yeah, but like myself, he's objective. He's seeing all sides.
You're not objective.
And he's pointing.
I'm just playing with you. I'm playing with you, but I'm serious. Go ahead.
You're right.
You're not objective.
What's that? All right.
She said.
I've been patient and listening.
You're not objective.
Kevin's objective. Kevin is objective. Billy, you're not objective.
Well, you don't know me, Gay, so you can't speak about me.
She's
All right?
going
You
off
don't
what
know
she's
me.
heard. She's going off what she heard
You're
me
hearing
say.
a couple of opinions. And is that right? Is that ready? Come on now.
Go ahead. Go
Give me
ahead. Go
give
ahead.
me some room.
Go ahead. You got all the room you want. I mean, she's just
You know
what she's
what I've
answering,
been
and I'm
saying.
going to say this for her. She's only talking about what she's heard you speak tonight. A lot of people feel the same way about that. They feel
All right, but don't we're talking about what I'm going to talk
you're coming in choppy, Bill.
exactly
You're coming in choppy. You're coming real choppy. Are you good? Oh, go ahead. Can we hear you
juries
now?
and being open-minded. Can you hear me? Yeah, I'm talking. All we've been talking about is judging and being open-minded and how to solve problems. And you know, I might have an opinion or two that differ from some people, but that's it. You know how I feel from what we've talked about before, from what we talked about last week. It was much more civil, and I think I made some good points. People need to we all need to see things a different way. And I mentioned before about training, and you're saying you can't teach an old dog new tricks and so forth. Well, you know where I work, and we have training upon training upon training. We have OSHA safety training every year. We have CPR training every 6 months. You know, I saved the guy's life in Central Park once because they beat that CPR shit into us. You know, and I knew it was like I was in the video. I played it out exactly how it went in the video. I did it in real life. So my opinion is,
But Billy, let me interject for a second. Training how to save someone's life has nothing to do with training how to change your ideology.
How to
If
treat
you're
people.
stay with me. If you're a
let me
racist,
finish my
I'm
thought.
not saying you. I'm not. Wait a minute. I'm not saying you. I'm just
Yeah,
talking about if a person is a racist, they are racist. I don't give
but
a damn. A 3 hour class or
That's
a
right.
2 day training is not
That's
going to
right.
change a racist's mentality.
Absolutely.
let me finish why I said that because it's drilled into us. We follow it, whether or not we agree with it. We follow it. You feel me? So
Because because you have a job, and that's what it is. Let me tell you
if
something. And
you teach people,
Kevin
this
and
is how.
Max, correct me on this.
Time out. If
And
let
God,
me finish.
you can correct me on this. Listen,
Let me
if
finish, please. Let me just finish my thought. If you teach people, this is our job, this is how we're going to do it. If you're not going to do it the way we're teaching it to you, then you're not going to work here. Then they're not going to. Then they're going to do it. That's my opinion. At least that's how it works where I work. If you don't follow these rules, we got safety upon this training, adversity, inclusion, race, all that shit. They teach it all to us. And this is how we operate. And if you're not going to follow it, you're not going to work here.
But the consequences on your job won't cost somebody their life, though. That's the
It'll
difference.
cost them their job, though, right? That's what I'm saying. If you ain't going to follow, if you
that's
ain't
why
going to
I'm trying
work how we work,
But that's what I'm trying to tell you, Billy. That's why I said we hire from the same pool as McDonald's. The consequences for a police officer is a lot greater than McDonald's, though. You know, you get somebody who's racist in
yeah.
McDonald's, you know, he's spending somebody's food because they're a person of color, or vice versa, or they're a white person, vice versa. It happens. And so, because they don't like white people, or they don't like cops, or whatever. And so they get fired. No one, hopefully no one ends up getting dead or dying from it. They might get sick, but they won't die. But you get a racist cop, you're held to a higher standard. You have the power to take somebody's life. Now, if you're racist and you come on this job and you end up taking somebody's life just because of their color, yeah, you get fired, but there's someone dead. Someone actually lost their life because of their ideology.
That's why I'm saying it shouldn't
And there's
have.
no way to change that. There's no way to change that on this job. But Gail,
That's what I'm
I
trying
will
to
tell
say
you
is
though,
from new
Gail,
cops.
if something happened to you, remain calm. You know it's wrong. Do what you got to do to get through that day, and you make sure you make complaint. But don't judge every cop by an incident that happened there. But you make sure
I
you make
don't.
complaint because you know what happens? You know what happens? You make that complaint, that cop gets retrained, or they find out something about it. He got enough complaints against him. He's off the job. Thankfully, he'll be off the job before he ends up killing
But
somebody.
that's my point.
Right.
That's what I was getting at.
Mm-hmm.
From the beginning, it should be ongoing from the date of hire, not just after you've been out there 10 years and you turn into an asshole. From date of hire.
Well,
Right.
If you they all saying if you throw enough shit at the wall, you'll stick, right?
Right.
Yeah. All right.
I have a
I'm gonna
couple
go
of
right.
things
Go ahead,
that
Gay.
I
I
can't
wanted
hear.
to say. A couple of things that I wanted to say. Oh boy. Okay, so just to answer Max immediately, because he just said the statement, it's not that I hold something against all cops. It's that I'm afraid when I'm stopped. Now, once the stop starts, and if the cop is decent or he's fine, then I'm gonna be fine. But in a lot of cases, the stop is escalated. Now I don't get stopped a lot, thank God. But I'm just saying, I think about what's going to happen if I get stopped and be very, very nervous. I'll tell you that right now. So that's one. I just wanted to say that. The second thing I wanted to say is Kevin, and I guess to Billy too. Part of the problem with racism is that white people think that they have to be on board with it. Because Kevin, you said, I didn't see it. I didn't see it. I never experienced it. I can't believe it. Well, have you ever had your period before? You never had a period, right? So I could tell you till I'm blue in the face what a period is like. You're never going to get it. But it happens, and it's out there, and it's real. And the problem is that sometimes people feel like because they don't see it and they don't experience it, that it doesn't exist. And the problem, the fact of the matter is, how could it not exist when like 99% of Black people keep telling you it does? How come you still don't believe it? How come when you see, and this is for Billy, when you look at the tape of George Floyd, right, you've been doing a lot of gaslighting about that video. And when you talk like that, you lose credibility with people of color. You've seen that video, and you know damn well he murdered that guy, just like Kevin said. This is why I say Kevin is neutral, because he's not gaslighting. He's calling a thing a thing. Being neutral doesn't mean questioning everything all the time. Being neutral means, if there's a difference of fact, you can be neutral about it. But you can't see this man kill this man on the street and then say, well, how do you know? And I don't see why, and I'm not sure how. I mean, that makes people very frustrated. And that makes it sound like you're trying to give them an excuse. Because I think if it was the other way around, people would be calling for that Black cop's head. Just like the Black cop that shot that white lady in Minneapolis. He got arrested. He got put in jail. The city gave him $55 million before the year was out. It was over. There was no seeing what happened. There was no question. He shouldn't have shot that lady. And he got served. But when it's a Black person, now there's all these questions about, well, what did he do? And what was he on? And how come he didn't? And I mean, that white lady ran up to the car, hit the window, scared them. I mean, I don't think that should have been a reason for her to get shot. But he could say, well, I was scared, so I shot. It's a reason. But he's where he should be for what he did. And all Black people are saying is, these other people need to be where they are for what they did. Stop questioning all the time. So Kevin, that's the last thing I want to leave with you is you don't have to understand it. And you actually don't have to ever see it. But if you know people that you care about and that you honor and you respect, and even if you don't, the sheer number of Black people saying this is their experience has got to let you know that this shit is true.
I've never once said it's not true.
I didn't say you said, but you said I never seen it, so it's hard for me to believe. And that is such an honest statement. I get that.
The extent is hard for me to
I
wrap my
get
head
that.
around. Right, that's the hard part for me to wrap my head around.
I understand, but that's the reality for people in this country. Like, it's hard for us to get our head around the fact that it happens to us like that too. Like, do you think every time, something that happens to a Black person that's what they call a microaggression is something we want to happen? Like, I've gone in stores, I've been followed. Yeah. I've gone, I've gone places and people looking like, why are you here? I mean, I grew up in an all-white town, predominantly white town. I was one of 8 Black kids that graduated out of my high school. So I've always been in spaces where Black people are made typically not supposed to be. And I'm constantly questioned on why am I there? I mean, I'm scared. I'm scared.
Solution?
What the solution is, Billy, is to stop denying it. When people tell you that it happens, believe them. That's the first thing. Stop trying to act like it's the media making it up. It's not the media making it up. It's the media for you to see it. You don't see it because it doesn't happen to you. But when people get a video camera out and they show you the video, now you can see too what we have to live every single day. So just, submit to the fact that there's something that's a problem here and that you really don't know.
Nobody said there wasn't a problem. We've been talking about it. You weren't here last week when we had a nice discussion about it. We've all been on that side of it. It's not a one-way street is all we're saying.
But Billy, let me ask you a question. Let me interject. Hold on. Let me interject.
I didn't do that because I was white.
I thought we were doing closing statements.
Okay,
Billy's going to get in trouble. I know how this goes. All right, I've been doing this a while. We are long past.
So hold on, Kevin. I'm going to save you for last, and I'm going to let Billy, Max, Gay, please give us some closing positive statements on what would you like to see done to make this world a better place. You're all more than welcome to come back at another time. I appreciate you all for giving your insight. You came and you nailed it, sister. You did your thing. Billy, thank you for being a part of it. Max, thanks for coming in 11. Later on, Kev, I appreciate you so much. My wife is right here in the back. She got my back. Listen, this is Real Talk Chronicles. I ask you to like it, share it, YouTube it, subscribe to it, because let me tell you something. I'm trying to give you the best content I can give you. I appreciate all the comments. People in here have been rocking and chiming with us, saying that your feelings, your opinions are not wrong. They're just your opinions. Don't mean we have to agree with them. And that's the beautiful thing about life. Everybody does things differently. So with that being said, Billy, give us some parting nice words.
I don't want to go first.
No, you're going to go first. It's my show. It's my show. You're going to go first. It's my show. You're going to go first. You don't. For whatever your feelings. Listen, you got feelings that if you got some positive shit to say, you can say it. You don't need somebody. You don't need to hear what anybody else got to say to be positive, right? So listen, Billy, Matt. No. This is my show. Listen to me. This is my show. You're going to go when I tell you to go, or you're not going to go at all. So either you're going to go now, or you're going to say goodnight, and then I'm going to go to Max, and I'm going to go to Gay, then I'm going to Kevin, and then I'm going to come to Malik and myself. So Billy,
all right. So what are we doing?
I want you to
comment to say goodnight to everybody.
Positive comment. I would have liked a minute or two to think about it, but it's good to hear. It's good to hear, like you said, everybody's got opinions,
So that's your positive comment. Everybody got opinions.
Believe it or not,
all right, because I'm going to go on to Max now.
Opinions.
Your internet, Billy's killing us.
All right, Billy, I'm going to go on to Max now. All right, come on, Max.
I can't see you. Come back to
I'll make
me.
it quick. The bottom line is all right. The bottom line is that it has to start at the top. There has to be change at the top. It's not so much the foot soldiers and stuff. Yeah, you're gonna get those bad apples and stuff who are real racist and stuff, but they're only doing it and getting away with it because the top allows it. As I said before, I've been a victim of that plenty of times. I don't walk around in a uniform. I walk around in the skin all the time though. So, but I still cannot judge everybody the same way because I would not want them to do it to me. So on both parts, black and white, do not judge everybody the same way. Judge them how they deal with you. But the problem is on top. That's where the racism needs to trickle down and stop at. And that's all I got to say. Thank you.
Thank you, brother. Thank you.
Thank you.
Come on, Gay.
What I would say is education. And what I mean by that is I think the reason why we have so much racism in the United States is because they have failed the whole country in terms of teaching the true history. I don't think Black people more than white people know what happened because we hear it from our families, we experience it, we have an interest, so we understand what happened in this country. But white people are totally oblivious to the true history of this country. They don't know about the Tuskegee Airmen, when my dad's a Tuskegee Airman. They don't know about Rosewood and Black Wall Street in Oklahoma. They don't know about peonage, the word peonage, and what that meant historically, that after slavery, Black people, if you didn't have a job, you could be put in jail and be back to slavery, but treated worse. They don't know about laws in real estate that segregated and redlined Black people to a certain area and then cut services and then lose jobs. They don't know that all this stuff was done on purpose. Like the reason that you have Black people in the state that they are was done on purpose. I think if white people started to understand how we got here, then I think it would start to change, because I think part of it is, not everybody, but I think there's a subconscious bit of there's probably something wrong with Black people. Look at them, they're all poor, they're all this, they're all that. They don't understand how did that happen, and they need to understand that. That would start to bring about a change. You start to say, oh, I didn't know that. I didn't know there were laws where, Black people couldn't work here. Black people couldn't live here. I didn't know there was actually a law from the US government that said these things. This is why we are where we are. So I think education, like Black history should stop being called Black history. It should be American history focused on Black people, because white people need to understand what the hell happened here. That's one. And two, we need to vote this mofo out of office and then try everything we can do to put this monster back in a box and get people on the right way. Because it's not just about racism. He's not good for anything. Nothing is good for except for lies. That's positive, right?
Thank you. I appreciate it. Kev, come on, Kev. Bring us home, baby.
Gay, I appreciate what you just said, and you're right. The education is horrible, and I've learned things, and I learn things every month, year, week, and day of my life. And we failed as a country in our education system. We try. I guess maybe we're embarrassed of it. I don't know. I don't. None of us here write curriculum for schools, but it's shameful. It really is. When I'm learning in school about English kings and in European history, learning about the succession of monarchs for a couple of hundred of years and 1,000-year war and all these other silly things that happen in Europe that don't matter, and we're not learning about our home. So I'm with you on that. That needs to change. I would love to see leaders who are actually trying to unite people and bring people together. I don't care. Do I vote more Republican than Democrat? Absolutely, I do. I'll cross the party line any day of the week, but I want to see somebody who's actually trying, and I don't see it at any level in government. I talk about Detroit. I think I see it there, but the rest of us have we've got terrible leaders. I made the joke last week. De Blasio is good at one thing; he unites us because we all hate him.
Yes.
But that's not the kind of uniting we're looking for. And I lastly, and I think I say this every week, is take a day, take a break from social media. Let your bodies all cool down. There is a lot out there, and there's a lot to be done. You can't do it 7 days a week. You can't. You can't fight the battle 7 days a week. You're only going to burn yourself out. Take a day, be with family, be with yourself, go read a book, whatever it is. But make sure you have that one recoup day. And that's it. Have a good night.
That's it. Hold on. So thank you. I appreciate you all. Definitely. I'm going to let my wife have something to say. You know what I'm saying? I know she's been in the background holding it down. First and foremost, this is Real Talk Chronicles. Everybody, please hold your thoughts and before you chime out. This is Real Talk Chronicles. Like it, share it. I ask you all to share it, like it, and subscribe to it on YouTube. Sweetie, we've been getting it in.
I love it all.
That's what's up. What do you think?
Yeah, I even got a glass of wine tonight. I never
Yeah. This is powerful. This is strong.
I'm like, I need some popcorn and wine for tonight's show.
Yeah, exactly.
Wow, this is really bright.
And you're all welcome back. Kevin is always here, but
yeah.
everybody else is always back. Just let me know. We can always have a forum. I will invite you. If anytime, you're more than welcome to come back. I appreciate your comments and questions and thought-provoking things. Sweetie, go ahead.
No, I was just thinking about 2 nights ago, you were actually sitting here talking alone.
Yeah.
And now look, you have a full house. I love this. I love it all. So I just want to say thank you for your openness. This is what Real Talk is all about, as Bill always says. We all have our own different opinions, and this is a forum that we welcome people just to express themselves. That's it. No judgment. We laugh, we boo sometimes. It's all good. It's nothing personal. It's just about
and even when it's personal, it ain't that personal.
It's not personal.
Because we all exactly. Yo, listen. The comments
Excuse me, I was speaking.
Okay.
See, he pulled me over for my work, right?
Yeah, exactly.
But that's the bottom line, and that's it. I mean, we just have to be respectful of each other's opinions. Look at that face that Billy is making.
I know. You got your son on your back, Billy.
What is that?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. We got a lot more to talk about. There will be a part 2, 3, 4, and 5.
Forever.
So this conversation, yeah. I mean, you said it all. I'm not going to repeat it. Thank you.
Voting?
Yes, they know. Vote.
When?
November 3rd.
Oh shit!
Come on now,
that's
you know.
exactly. Listen, what are you doing? What project did you have?
I'm going to need another set of glasses, Bill.
That's it. Tell them about your.
Yeah, I'm designing websites. I'm doing a lot of different things back there, so that's why I'm not always front and center. Kevin, I see you got your mascot. I love it. I love it. Yes.
Awesome.
That's like a Billy lookalike.
It is. Once upon a time, that's the old school beat. That's the old school beat. Listen, everybody out there, this is Real Talk Chronicles. We appreciate you. We thank you. Listen, I ask you, subscribe. Let me tell you, share it. Tell a friend. Invite a friend. If somebody wants to be a part of it, send me a friend request via Bill Foster Facebook or from Real Talk Chronicles. I have my own Real Talk Chronicles page, and we have a Real Talk Chronicles like page. We have a Real Talk Chronicles page. Listen, it's a movement. It's just not a mental. Thank you, Max. Thank you, Bill. Who's that little handsome young man behind you? Is that man? You're not gonna talk. Shh. Gay, you brought it home,
Yes,
sister.
thank you.
Thank you.
Gay.
You are always welcome to come back
Oh,
and come in and just chiming in by yourself, even if it's just Kevin and I. Kevin Branzetti,
So
all
great.
the time. You are doing a damn thing, brother. Appreciate you. Kevin and I have something that we're having. We're having a young lady. We're going to talk about trafficking. Kevin, give them a brief synopsis about that trafficking
All right.
conversation we're going to have coming up.
So that's Bob Ross, first off, and everybody should watch more Bob Ross paintings because if you want to calm down and knock your blood pressure down 50 points, that's the guy to watch. On a completely more, can we get more serious? Is that possible?
Yes. Yeah.
But this would be more serious. We're gonna have a night. We're gonna have a discussion on sex trafficking, child exploitation. My second job in life is I am a co-founder of the National Child Protection Task Force. We help law enforcement across the country recover kids, but we're bringing on an incredible woman. She is completely my hero. She was a victim as a child of sex trafficking by her mother, which I don't know if you can get any of a worse scenario of that in your entire life, but she has turned her life around and is the most inspirational speaker you'll ever hear talk. She mesmerizes me when she speaks. But she has some real important things to say about things, if you work in a school, if you work in a place with kids, things that you should be looking for and paying attention to with our children so that we can help them earlier before they go through a living hell. So Barbara Wilson's her name. I think her first book was Mute, but Now I Speak. So you can research her beforehand. Spectacular woman, a hero to us all. Thanks.
And thank you. We will have Kevin and I, the three of us will have the date by tomorrow. I will sit down and go over the emails and talk about it. Like I said to everybody, this is Real Talk Chronicles on behalf of my lovely wife and myself.
And shout out to everyone and all their comments.
Thank you. Thank you.
It was on fire. I love it.
Appreciate you. Next week, Monday, vote, census, vote, census. Listen, vote. I can't get it out. COVID-19, cover your face. Listen, vote. We got a lot of things to talk about. Open your mind. Billy, you did say that. Open your mind. Whether you got to open your mind, Billy. Open your mind, Billy. I'm just playing with you. Gay, Max, Kevin Branzetti. Listen, Malika Forster. I'm Bill Forster. This is Real Talk Chronicles. Good night, everybody.
Okay.
We love you. We
Can I say
appreciate
one
you.
thing?
What? All right now. Is it right there?
That's it.
All right.
Billy.